stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, yeah, shoot, yeah, shooting, yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Tottenham Away. This is our fan talking show where you, the fans, get to come on, have your say, talk about anything you want regarding Tottenham, football, the club, other clubs. It's up to you. My plan is to bring everyone in, give them 10 minutes, have a chat, maybe longer. We'll see how it goes. And then one by one, bring in people who wish to come on. At the top of the comments, in the chat, you'll see I've pinned a link to come on the show. There's only one rule. You need to have your camera on. I need to see who you are because we do get the odd wrong-un that decides to come on and do something crazy. So that should stop them from coming on. But let's quickly say hello to a few people in the chat. We've got Tony. Big up, Tony. George in the house. How you doing, George? Language Angels. Mark, channel member. Big up to you. I hope you're good. Ant's in the house. Ibby, how you doing? If you can't see what Super Duper FSG are doing, you can jog down to the Etihad. They're doing a big expansion there, aren't they? George, by the way, I think the tickets are all gone now. I've had a few people ask me, your best bet is to go to the stadium and pay over the odds for someone selling some outside the stadium, unfortunately. Big up, Cold Shot. Dog Biscuit, hope you're good. LSPI, big up. Jason in the house. How you doing? Hope you are well. Just quickly going to check something. Yeah, that seems okay. All right, listen. JJ, how you doing? Good? Channel member? Spurs DNA analyst? I've been jumping on an hour. Yep, I will still be here. All right, let's bring on the first guest. I want to get straight into it. I don't know his real name. He's calling himself Cold Army. So let's find out who this is. Hello, mate. How you doing?
How's it going? I'm okay, man. I'm okay. Cold Army. I left a couple of comments in the section. I think you replied to a few of them. So my name is Alex, by the way.
Alex. Okay, nice to meet you, Alex. Where are you from?
Canada.
Oh, okay. Whereabouts?
The capital, Ottawa. So we don't really have a big Spurs community. It's usually more like in Toronto and Vancouver around here. But I'm trying to bring the spirit. You know what I mean? To bring it a bit more to Canada, if I can. So yeah.
Yes. So do you know Brian Daigle from Tottenham on tour?
I tried to speak with him a couple of times, but I don't think he ever responded. Maybe because maybe sometimes we clash in our views. Even though we both want Levy out, sometimes I think he's a bit more positive than I am. Even though I don't want to be negative, I'm just, because I think he travels often to go to the UK to watch the games. I think.
Yeah. So I know Brian Daigle. Yeah. We used to go to school here in England. I've known him for 30 years. Dietrich Kane, he's in Canada, and then Scott M, who comes on our channel sometimes. He's a mod as well on the channel. He's from Canada as well. So there's a few Canadians that come on the Spurs channel. So, but anyway, how you doing, man? How have you been?
I'm okay. Just waiting for the game this weekend. I'm anxious. I'm excited, but I'm also preparing for the worst. I just don't have a good vibe going into it. Even though I think Odegaard, I think they have about 3 or 4 players they're out, which should give us a big chance of hopefully snatching the point or just winning the game. But I don't know, man. I'm starting to lose patience with Ange. And it's been going on for a while. You guys did the stats since the first 10 games. It's just been going downhill nonstop. The tactics, clearly they didn't work in the Premier League. This is not the Scottish League. This is not Japan. He needs to come up with a plan. I don't think he wants to. I think he's very, very, very stubborn as a person. And it also comes out in the interviews that he does. A bit of arrogance, maybe. I think he believes he's probably something that he's not. I fear for the players, and I fear also for Van den Ven. I don't know how long this guy can last. His hamstring has been, I think he had one big injury. I'm kind of fearing that he's going to have another run this season. Hopefully not, but with the way that we play, I don't see a good outcome. I just don't see a good outcome. So I'm scared for the weekend, man. I'm really scared. Let
me ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
When you say he's stubborn with what?
I think his tactics. I think he wants to stick to that plan A over and over because that's his style. And I totally get that. That's your imprint. That's what you're known for. You've been using that style in the Scottish League, the Japanese League, and I'm not sure where he was before that. I'm pretty sure he was probably in the Australian League. And I think he was the coach of Australia as well. I could be wrong, but I think he was the national coach for a bit as well. And
so are you talking more tactically, attacking wise? He's stubborn, defensively, substitutions, everything.
I would say even both. Sometimes I just feel like attacking wise, we throw Porro and we throw Udogie pretty much as number 10s. Sometimes they drop in the wing, but usually they're number 10s. We have I think you guys discussed the whole thing with Madison not finding his place anymore just because there's too many players crowding that area. And I feel like the moment that you have Udogie, Porro so up front, and you only have Romero, which doesn't really have a lot of pace, Dragushin, who doesn't have a lot of pace either, you're pretty much stuck with one person on the back. So defensively, he doesn't do that. And attacking wise, I feel like we always follow the same pattern of play. Crossing or low crosses into the box. There's nobody there. Lately, I think like the players have been starting to shoot from the distance a lot more, like we saw with Bissouma. Like I think things are starting to change attacking wise, But defensively, the guy is stubborn. He doesn't want to change anything.
Let me ask you something, okay? Listen, I could easily sit here and say I agree. But
Yeah.
but I want to understand why you say these things, right? So there's a lot of fans who say that we're better this time going forward. We're actually conceding less balls into our box this season, and we're a lot more on the front foot. It's just a matter of time before it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
There's fans who say that we just missed Solanke, and if Solanke was there, it would be a completely different story. But there's also people that say, but teams are happy to give us possession because they know that they can spring an attack on us and they can counter us and they can punish us. Yeah. There's also some fans that say Ange has been sussed out and they deliberately low block us, knowing that this is the way to punish us and the high line will get exposed.
Yeah.
What would you say to that? Are you more in the camp of you think Ange has been sussed out, or do you think be patient, it's a matter of time before we click and Solanke will come back and put these chances into the back of the net? Kind of where are you with that?
Look, no, I'm pretty sure he got sussed out. I think the first 10 games of the season, I think it was the honeymoon period. It was totally something different. I think the team needed something else from the whole defensive kind of idea that we had with Mourinho and Conte. I think the players were probably happy to have a more attacking, more of an attacking mentality with Ange. But I think the 10 games, for me, going back and watching those games, I think that was a honeymoon period. Because the Chelsea game, even though we had a lot of injuries, we capitulated so quickly. It was a complete downfall. And usually, I would say it's more gradual. You go slowly downhill than just a complete drop. And that's pretty much what we saw. We had some wins, but we always win against like the bottom 3, the bottom 5. We never win against the big ones. And for me, that's a sign that the big teams sussed you out. There's better coaches than you.
If you look at Ange's record, our record against the bottom 10 is really good, like really, really good. It's probably why we came 5th last year. Our record against the top 10 is shocking. Yeah. But our record away from home is diabolical. We have got a horrendous away record. So I think we've got to, as fans, maybe understand why is that? Is that because we don't have the quality of players to compete against those top 10 teams? Or is it because it's a process, it takes time, they've got to learn the system, and we haven't quite, had enough time with the manager? And it is a case of, be patient.
You know what? If we started last season, let's say the whole thing would have clicked maybe halfway, or maybe by the end of the season, I would see like a huge improvement going into the season. But for us, it was the opposite. It was up and then it went down. Usually that's not how anything works in life. Usually if there's a process, it goes up because the players are learning how to cope with the system. They're learning how to cope, because even this season we have a bunch of new players that never played with each other. So it takes time. I totally get that. But for me, the whole system that we had, if the players like the second season, for me, we have to play a lot better than the first season. And I'm not seeing that at the moment. Maybe attacking wise, like you said, maybe we are a bit better. We've always had the possession. Maybe we have a bit more possession, but defensively is the same thing. And the players that we brought in, Werner aside, Turbo Wiener, or like the name that you nicknamed him, which is hilarious. We brought, like a 19-year-old. We have 2 18-year-olds with Bergvall and Gray. We don't have the players. If really this is the season that you want to improve on the process that you have, you need some quality players. And Solanke, I'm sorry, but that's a 65 million down the drain.
I think a lot of Spurs fans were under the impression, for whatever reason, I blame the journalists, but that's my opinion. A lot of fans thought we were going to get Eze, Tonys, Chiesas, Paulinhas, these kinds of players, and we didn't get any of them. So I think it's a bit of an underwhelming window in terms of bringing in the quality, especially in those wide forward areas. I think we're lacking big time.
100%.
Cold Army, I'm going to bring in the other guys. What I want to do is, can you stay in the back end? Because what I'm going to do is, once everyone's had a say, I think I'm just going to bring everyone on and we can have a big group chat at the end. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Man.
Hey, everyone in the chat, big up.
Hang around, yeah? Hang around.
Sure.
All right, let me bring in Ryan. Ryan, how you doing, brother?
Oh, you're all right, man.
Yeah, I'm all right, yeah. How are you?
Good. Nah, I'm good, man. I was just thinking about what I saw the other day with you, man. That's just diabolical. But we won't go back into that again because I don't go back into the past.
Let's keep it football.
I feel sorry for you. But no, I agree. It's 65 million down the drain. Literally, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's got to the point where I just feel like we're not gonna. First of all, you're right. We've got a diabolical record against the top 10, and I can see us getting absolutely smashed 3-0 against Arsenal. Literally, I can see it happening.
But last season at home, we scored 2 goals. The refereeing decision went against us. They've got Declan Rice missing, Odegaard missing, Calafiori's out, Jesus is missing. Don't you fancy us to maybe sneak a win or at least get? I think we're going to draw, personally speaking. I don't think they're going to smash us. But if you think 3-0, fair enough. But why do you think that?
Because it's the high line, right, that Ange plays. It's kamikaze football. And we just... We and every time it's got, and if Saka's playing, it's going to rip everybody that back line a new. I don't even want to say what I want to say about that, but a new backside. Let's put it like that. No, a new backside, like, and it will just be the same over again. And if we've got other people, like if Martinelli's going to be playing, I don't know if he will or not. It will be the same down the other wing because Porro's got pace. Don't get me wrong. But he's not as quick as Martinelli.
Martinelli has not had a good season at all. And he didn't have a good season last year. So, but yeah, Dr. Tottenham might mean that Martinelli steps up. I don't know about Martinelli. He's not looking that great at the moment. I'm worried about Saka. I think Saka can hurt us. I think Trossard is a dangerous player for them. Don't rate him. He's been doing well for Arsenal, so... But then,
and then Gabriel Jesus is meant to be coming back as well, isn't he?
Say that again. Sorry, Ryan.
Gabriel Jesus, isn't he meant to be coming back over the weekend?
We don't know. We don't know about Jesus, and we don't know about VDV and Solanke either.
Right, but that makes it even worse than if VVD's not playing.
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know. I think we're going to have to wait till Friday when they do. So on Friday, both managers, Ange and Arteta, will do their press conferences. At that point, we will know. Saying that, though, before the Newcastle game, Ange never mentioned that Van der Ven was out. And then we got to the match on Sunday and Van der Ven was out. So even then, we might not 100% know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Van der Ven's out, we're definitely getting smashed. And then I'll be changing it to about 4 or 5-0 because... Without Van der Ven,
we're not losing 4-5-0, Brian. We're not losing.
That's only if Van der Ven's not playing.
We're not losing 4-5-0, man. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, if we haven't got Van der Ven in it, it could be quite literally just because that high line. It's that high line that worries me, and Ange hasn't got a plan. Like everyone keeps saying, Ange hasn't got a plan.
The high line worries me too. The high line worries me too. It does.
So I just don't know. Still, it's just one of those situations where you just hope that we can get something out of the game. But if you're being realistic about it, right? If we don't win this, right, we're going to only have, 4 points from our first 4
Depends
games?
if we draw. If we lose, it's 4 points. If we get a draw, it's 5 points. If we win, it's 7.
But if we lose, then it's only 3 then, isn't it? Am I correct?
4 points. Because we've got 4 at the moment.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so then let's just say I'm right and we lose, right? What's that gonna do for our confidence going into the other games, like Coventry, for example, and then going on having to play United away, Brighton at home or away. I can't remember the exact.
Away. Yeah. So the next game is we've got Coventry midweek in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Then we got Brentford the following week. Then we've got, I think it's Karabag, and then we've got Man United, Brighton. I believe West Ham is somewhere in there. So, look, at the end of the day,
just this side of the international break, until the next international break. If we lose this, we're in deep trouble. Personally,
I think if we lose this game, Ange is under immense pressure, and fans will begin to put pressure on as well. I think that's what will happen.
Well, I'm already putting pressure on Ange. I'm like, I don't want him in the club. I keep saying this. I've said this on my channel yesterday. I want Ange out and I want Levy out, and I'd rather have Pochettino come back in. To be honest, personally, because at least he's got defensive stability at the back.
Do you think Ange deserves a bit of time though? Because listen, I've questioned Ange. I think he's defensively naive, but I'm also prepared to let it play out and say, let's get to Christmas, halfway through the season, and see how we're playing, what the results look like, where are we in the league, how are we doing in Europe, how are we doing in the Carabao Cup, things like that, before I get to a place where I actually say Ange out.
Well, I think I've given him enough time, to be honest, because after them first 10 games last season, it was going up like that, and then we fell off the edge of a cliff after that. And that's because teams sussed us out, and Ange is too naive. He's not good enough. He's not a top half Premier League manager. Maybe for someone like an Everton or a Nottingham Forest, he'd be good, but not for Tottenham.
Listen, Ryan, fair enough. That's how you feel, man. That's how you feel. I think there's a few fans that do feel that way as well. I'm going to bring in the next chap. Ryan, stay in the back, because once I've gone through kind of 4 or 5 people, I want to bring you all on. We can have a big debate, a lot of us, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's fun.
All right, man. Big up to Ryan. All right. The next chap is, I hope I say your name right, Sriram. If I haven't, you can correct me. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, you work for Tesla?
Yeah, I do.
I can see the jacket. How you doing? Where are you from? You based in the USA, America, Canada?
I'm originally from India, but I'm currently in USA, particularly in West Coast, California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was in LA. I was in LA last month, actually.
Oh, nice. I heard about your trip in Dallas and everything else, watching
Texas,
all your
Austin.
streams for a long time. I think I've been bugging you a lot on Twitter too. I have a Twitter handle, Sriram Karunagaran. That's my full name. And I've been tagging Thamer away in a lot of things. I don't know. Seriously, don't know how you do it every single day. Honestly, the amount of every day that I look at things and Twitter and all those bullshit that you're getting, and you're able to push through and then keep going, like, bro, I was like, I don't think how this person is even doing this like every day. But big up to you.
That's why I've got no hair left. That's why I've got no hair left. Listen, anyway, listen. Talk to me. Listen, thank you for your words. I appreciate it. Talk to me about Tottenham. What is it you wanted to talk about?
I think it's just Levy. Like, I know Ange is. There's a lot of plans are split between Ange. I know everybody wanted to have an attacking football. Like, it's not all. I think most of the people. I don't know. It's probably international people. We feel that we need to be. If we are considered as a big six, the only big six that that doesn't win trophies is just us. Like, based on business perspective, yes, we are a really good booming business. I hope Elon watches this and buys Tesla, buys the club and then makes it like better. But I don't suppose that's going to happen. But I don't think we're going to win anything on this ownership. I've been supporting this club for like 14 years. I haven't seen single trophy, and all these 14 years, all my friends have been like buzzing with like trophies, Champions League, on all of that. Haven't had a chance to actually say that. I'm still kind of embarrassed and ashamed to even say that I'm still supporting Tottenham. I don't know why I'm still supporting Tottenham. It's just I cannot just let it go. Like I wish I could just swap like that and then say, hey, I want to jump in, and then I want to go watch City or Liverpool or whatever. Like, but it's it's uh, it's other really bad. And I did recently saw the video that you posted about David Pleat and how he's there. I haven't had many info about like how he did impact because I haven't watched him that much. Um, but it's just ex-Spurs players, legends. If you do things like that to them, there's like there's none. Like you're just taking everything legacy away. Like it's like for people like me, I'm in my 31. I haven't been watching Spurs for a long time. So for the last 10, 15 years, people who just recently started watching Tottenham, we don't have anything to be proud of, right? There's no glory days, there's nothing. But if you keep cropping up all the people who had legacy and all of that, uh, like the next generation, or they're just gonna forget it. They're just gonna accept this is what Tottenham is, and then be okay. And that I'm pretty sure that's what most of the fans are like. Hey, this is exactly Tottenham. Like we don't win anything, we don't do anything, and all the fans are happy that this is attacking football. I know what and is trying to do and he wants to do, but he doesn't have the players, and we're signing like shit players everywhere. Like most of the cases,
Who'd you blame for that, Sriram? Who'd you blame? Because some fans say that. Well, Ange just said I'm in charge of transfers. Some fans don't believe what he says. Some fans believe what he says. Some people say it's the recruitment committee, Lange and Paratici, and our data analysts. Other people say typical Levy. This always happens under Levy. But Ange has come out and said, I wanted this guy, I wanted that. So when it comes to the players we've signed, who, if you don't think they're good enough, who do you point the finger at for that?
I think like we all know who do we have to point to. It's Levy because he's the one who employ all of them, or at least even if he directly didn't go out and employ all of them, he signed a check, right? Finally, I'm assuming that's what a chairman does. Like at least he would be made aware of, hey, these are the people that we're going after. These are the people that we're assigning. Uh, but and he himself said it that he loved Jose Mourinho when we lost Poch. Like when Poch got like sacked, I was like, I felt really bad. But that was Levy. Like Levy made the decision, and I'm still flabbergasted like how Levy is now spending big amount of money in like even worse players. Like when we sold Bale, we like the 100 million got split, and like and only Ericsson was the only one that was good. And I can't even imagine we got someone like maybe half of Ericsson. I know Madison is closer to that, but he's super inconsistent. And like after the injury in January, he didn't do big. Like he didn't do much. Like the or maybe it might be the system where when Ericsson was playing, Poch was like free flowing. It was him. Dele was like always behind Kane, and Ericsson was the one who was pulling the strings. But I think now everybody is in midfield crowding. I don't know because I'm not a football expert, so I don't know. I can say that tactics are kind of hindering his development or not. But uh, Ange actually vouched that he did it. So like it's something that Levy now can do. If Ange loses the next 3 or 4 games, Levy can be like, hey, this guy said it. All right, Ange, you're out. We're gonna get someone else, and the whole process like rinse and repeat again. Like this is a never-ending process, though.
But that's going to be Ange's fault because he came out and said it. The fact he said it means the media are going to hold him accountable for it, and so will fans, I think. And I mean, regarding the North London derby, what do you think is going to happen? How do you predict it?
I I have a feeling that maybe it might be a draw. Maybe we might be able to win it. But even if we do win it, I feel like fans will overhype it and say like, "Oh, did you see that we're beating like Arsenal? Like we went toe to toe with Arsenal, but Arsenal the we know the most impactful players from Arsenal from last year. Those guys are missing, are potentially missing to the North London Derby match. So even if we do beat it, like it's the same case with Newcastle, like the last game that we played, like Newcastle didn't play that much. I know Isak and Gordon, all those guys were like having like not so great day, but they still scored. Um, if we do, and honestly, I want us to lose. I want us to go into a losing streak and try to like that should make them finally realize. I assume that's what it's going to do last year when we were there. Arsenal were really close of winning the title. Maybe that might rub off like some of the
Sorry, you
fans
want us to go into a losing streak?
Yes, like what? Like
why?
I know it doesn't feel fair for us as a Tottenham fan, but it's there's not going to be no change. None of the supporters are going to make a difference. All the supporters, even let's just say, like with the best case scenario, we beat Arsenal and we beat let's just say throw it in West Ham or Man U. If we beat Arsenal and Man U, the most of the things that you guys were saying from last season, we were like really poor beating in top 10. Now this is some point that they can say, hey, we beat two of the big teams and we can only beat teams that were put in front of us. And I know from last season to this season we have improved, but it's not enough. I want a change in ownership and I want fans to unite, but I don't see a bigger reason for fans to unite unless it's Arsenal fans poking their faces into all of us saying, hey, losers, you're still losers. I didn't even know there's a term called Spursy until a friend of mine that I came to US to do my master's and then she pointed out saying, hey, Spursy, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like I didn't even know that. And she was like, oh, you guys keep losing like to us and you guys are Spursy. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know this term actually existed. But those are things that how can I proudly say I'm too ashamed to actually have my son, have a 10-month-old son. I don't even want him to support Spurs. Like because his life is gonna get even more miserable than me.
Do you know what? The reason I'm laughing is because deep down I actually agree with what you're saying, but I can't bring myself to admit it because that's how crap it's gone under Levy and Enoch. But I don't know what it will take. I still think we have to let this play out. I still think we need to let at least it go up to Christmas and see how it goes before we really go in. Because who knows, man? We might all be surprised. Maybe it does all click. But am I confident it will?
I would be very happy if it happens. I would come back here again. If it clicks, I would say, I'm really sorry that I felt that way. I'm really wrong. I would say it. I would own it because I want to feel happy. I want to say that I'm proud supporting. And I was when Poch was there, when Mourinho was there, when Conte was there, I was buzzing when Conte was there. Like I was telling all my friends, like, bro, Conte is here. He's gonna win something. He's gonna win something. And when Mourinho was that close to that cup final, and then freaking Ryan Mason, like he was not even that good of a player to us. He went to Hull City.
This Ryan Mason's just a yes man.
I was like,
he's just a yes.
I was like, what is the point? What is the point? Like, this is no point. And then, like, I don't want. I know a lot of fans want Poch back. I'm so happy that he came to USA. Where
I don't think Poch is ever going to come back whilst Daniel Levy's the chairman.
I don't want Poch back. The same reason when he was so humiliated, they didn't even let him. I don't know if it's true or not, the way that portrayed it, where he wrote his thank you message in the whiteboard and they showed it. This is how Poch was let go, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how true that was. If that was the case, then it's really bad. Like
that's how he, mate. Our owners have got no class. They've got no class at all. Listen, Sriram, I'm going to bring in the next guy. If you're not busy, stay in the back because at the end I'm going to bring everyone back in. Okay?
Yep. Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
And listen, thanks for coming on anyway. But hopefully you're still around at the end.
Yep. Hopefully. Thanks.
All right. Big up to Sriram. I'm going to bring in the next guy. Goes by the name of Ram. Ram, big up to you, brother. How you doing?
Hi, can you hear me well?
I can hear you, man.
I don't want to talk about Levy. I want to talk about more football.
Talk about whatever you
Like,
want.
yeah. So I've seen your show a couple of times. As as the experience that you have of whatever coaching experience do you have, like I had a question. Have you noticed how it's been 1 year and Udogi doesn't ever cross ball inside? Like I'm not expecting him to put in crosses like Poro, but like Ben Davis puts in a better cross than Udogi. Like I feel like any decent player, any average player can like at least put in a decent cross within the area. Okay, maybe they can't find the man, like it's not spot on, but it shouldn't be tough. And what I've noticed is he always positions himself in a way that he's guarding the ball and like he has a defensive position in opposition's box. Is that like why is he not working on crossing? Imagine if we could cross on both sides. I think it would really help our system. Have you noticed something? Any views on that?
Yeah, I was actually trying to bring up the Twitter page for Tottenham Way, but I'm struggling to do a screen share. I tweeted last week that, in my opinion, Vicario and Adogi have regressed. I think they've gone backwards from when they first came to us. I think Adogi is partly because of injury, but also I don't think this system works for him. I think we signed him as a player that was more driving down the wings, taking on players, got to the byline and actually put balls into the box. And now he's been asked to invert. I don't think it works for him. Whereas Porro, I think he's adapted better. Is it because Porro's a better player? Well, Porro's older. He's more experienced. Adogi's still fairly young. But I just don't think we're getting the best out of Adogi. I actually think this system is killing him. And I'm concerned our manager doesn't know how to coach players that bridge the gap between youth to adult football. That age of 19, 20 up to 21, 22, that bridge. I don't think Ange is good at it, personally speaking. I'd like to be proven wrong, but I agree with you what you're saying about Adogi. I don't disagree with anything you've just said about him. I don't think he's looking as good as what we thought. But when you look at him when he plays in Italy, he was a pretty good player. And when he first came to Spurs, he looked like quite a good player. But he switches off. He has moments of concentration lapses. And also, like I said, I don't think he inverts as a player well. I don't think that's something that suits his game at all.
So I would disagree slightly in the sense that I think he can invert because he has that physical presence that he can keep position even in tight spaces and he can hold off people. So I think in that sense you can bump a pass like using him or like he can connect a pass or something.
Yeah, but when you invert
that.
when you invert, you're almost going into an attacking mid role. Now it becomes more of a technical and decision making game. I don't think he has that mindset, that decision making of a number 10. That's more of a man than Christian Eriksen.
And he's almost never looking to shoot. Like he's not even facing the goals most of the time. He's looking to just prevent someone stealing from the ball. Like that's what is most surprising for me, even when he gets in those positions. My other question that I wanted to discuss was so I personally I support Ange. I think he's a good manager. I think he's very smart, and I think eventually he would adapt. I cannot like I know he hasn't adapted well. I cannot back it up yet. Like I like it's a gut feeling. I don't have any logical reasoning for having this opinion. Like it's more of a hope that he will eventually adapt. By adapt I mean he would tweak a bit. What I don't understand is all of his system is basically everyone pushes up so that our wingers have more options and like basically options to create chances. Like that's all our system does, I think. And then he goes and gets Johnson and Werner, which is for someone who knows the system very well. How do you go and recruit Johnson and Werner when you know what their decision making is? Like I feel like, and It's surprising that people say that they got this GA and all, but I'm saying if we put in anyone, like the GA is not because of the person, the GA is because of the system. Like we are.
The GA is against the bottom 10 teams. When you look at Richarlison, Werner, Kulu, Johnson, even Odegaard when he was at Burnley. I've missed someone else here. Who am I missing? Kulu, Johnson, Werner. I'm missing one more, Richarlison. When you look at their GA against the bottom 10 teams, it's actually very good. Goals, assists, very good. Once we start playing the top teams, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, Brighton, I've said Villa. When you look at those kinds of teams, even Wolves, Fulham's, mid-table, the GA is awful. It's absolutely shocking. They go missing in something between 80 to 75% of games. They're almost non-existent. And that's why we didn't get top four. It's why we did badly in the Cups. And that's why I'm not surprised we're currently 4 points out of 9, because Newcastle's a top 10 team. It doesn't matter how well we play, domination, possession, progressive passes, blah, blah, blah. How many goals did you score? We scored 0 goals. Listen, it will say 2-1, but the one goal we scored was an own goal, right? Yeah. We couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And this is everything that I saw from the attacking front three last season against the top 10. The only 2 players, Ram, that actually have got a good GA against the top 10 teams in our squad is Son and Porro. They're the only 2 players. If that doesn't change, this season will be no different to last season.
No, I completely agree that it's against the bottom teams. But I'm saying even against the bottom teams, it's not the decision-making of these people who are getting the GA. It's because everyone in our system is pushing up, and the system creates that just an open space for them it basically destroys. We have an instance where we destroy the line of the other team, or there's a very easy instance where these people can just tap in. Or
it's because the bottom 10 teams don't have as good players. We're up against weaker opposition. That's what it is.
Yeah, so it's not like these players are creating that instance even against bottom teams. So that's why I'm surprised. When you know the system so much, how can you go and recruit Johnson and Werner and think that these people would play excellent in my system? That's impossible for me to reason.
I don't know. I argue with fans online all the time about Werners and Johnsons and these players, and half of them agree, half of them just get abusive. It's a very divided subject. I don't think any of our fans. The only player we all agree is really, really good, that every fan agrees, is Van der Ven. That's the only player every Spurs fan agrees on. Maybe Porro. Yeah. Everyone else, we're divided. Basuma, Maddison.
So I personally feel
even Sun fans argue over. Our top scorer, we argue over him as well.
I personally feel for defend, I don't give any blame to defenders or midfielders at the number 6 position like Bissouma or Bentancur in this system. They're being asked to do too much. They're almost always outside of their position. They're running box to box midfielder. All of the defenders are box to box midfielders throughout 90 minutes. They're not used to that, and when you play like that, these defenders have so much to do that even if they have an excellent game, they will make 1 or 2 mistakes, which happens with every box to box midfielder in the world. I feel in every game they will make 1 or 2 mistakes. The only difference is for other teams there is a whole back line covering those mistakes, and in this case there is no one behind our players. So I don't blame them at all. For me, in most situations, I would say
it's difficult because we don't play with a proper 6, which means they don't have that protection. When the wingers invert and we get hit on the counter attack down the wide areas, the centre back sometimes is pulled out, which leaves a big gap in the middle, and the other centre back has to deal with it. But at the same time, our defenders do switch off. Like Romero has switched off, Udogie has switched off, Porro has left his man. Dragusin can't sprint back. He's not a highline player. The same thing happened in the Euros against Belgium. He couldn't do it. So I think some of it is on the players. Do you know what, Ram? Do you know what my biggest concern is? I think we're so heavily coached attack, pass, attack, that we're not giving enough time to defending as a unit when we're out of possession and when we're outnumbered. We're just not coached enough on how to be defensively solid. That has to be coached. I don't think it's coached enough. So when we do have to defend, it's almost like everyone do their own thing and hope it works. That's kind of how it looks to me. And I think it's because we're so dependent on the attack scoring the goals that will solve the defensive issue. But because we don't score the goals, when the defense are called upon, things go wrong. And that, for me, is on the manager. That is on the coaching. But if we start scoring lots of goals and all this possession we're having in games begins to win us games 2-0, 3-1, 3-2, 2-1, and we go on a run, people won't care about the defense. But at the moment, that's not happening.
And one more thing I wanted to say, like everyone, like lots of our supporters back Johnson and Werner for some reason. Like I don't think it was that difficult to upgrade on those positions this transfer window. Like I'm saying even Dwight McNeil would have performed better if he plays in our system. Like anyone who can make good decisions and has like decent technical ability would get 10 times, like 10 more GA than what our wingers are getting right now, except Son maybe. Like it's I feel like it's because they're always one-on-one with the defenders.
Listen, I agree. I've said plenty about these players. Sylvester makes an interesting comment. He says there isn't a proper six in the market. Didn't Onana go to Aston Villa? Could we have not signed him? Could he not play in that role? I don't know. Listen, Ram, I want to bring on the next guy. Are you okay to stay in the background and I'll bring you back at the end and we can all have a chat? Sure. Listen, Ram, I thought you made some great points, man. Honestly, really, really good to have you on the show, yeah?
See you.
All right, brother. Okay, we've got a West Ham fan coming on next. This should be interesting. Tommy, look at him, he's laughing already. Let's see what he brings.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I was like, oh.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, it's all right. Not bad listening to Tottenham fans moan about their club. Ain't that bad, you know? But no, it's I'm good, thank you. You're good still.
Yeah, I'm okay, man. I'm okay. We've got a big game coming up. Arsenal got a few injuries. I think they're there for the taking, but will we take it? I'm not so confident. Listen, what brings you on? I want to know why an Irons fan has wanted to come on a Spurs channel. I want to hear it.
What you want? Well, with me personally, I'm a football fan. Yes, and before I say it, I was a Tottenham fan when I was younger years. And
Get him off. Get him off. Get this guy off. What is that about? What is that about? 1 minute. Hold on. If you're going to leave Spurs, go support Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United. You left Spurs to support West Ham.
There ain't much difference. Come on, I won a trophy
before you. Get out of here! Get out!
Well, we've won two. You won a Carabao Cup. I won the Conference League. So no. So basically, my oldest brother. He was a Tottenham fan. I wasn't really into football like 5 years, and then my brother-in-law come into my life, and then I had a season ticket for like 10 years till the Boleyn. And then the first season, I had to give up my season ticket because we had a game versus Chelsea, and where we sat was right next to the away fans. And then I was on holiday and there was all trouble going off. And they said to us, all right, you either got to move or you have to give up waves. All right, we'll give it up. Bye. See you later. And I fell out of love. Like, I think with me personally, I think people just getting mugged off with football nowadays. I'm only 25. You could say I'm a baby of football, but I've seen a lot of football from my age. And I just think fans are getting mugged off left, right and centre.
We are getting mugged off.
Yeah, you are.
Getting mugged off.
I've got a Tottenham fan at work. Kane, he's got a season ticket. He'd love me being on this show. He's been wanting me to get on here for ages, see if I could come on here. And luckily today you done your calling show, and he had this analogy.
Is he watching? Is he watching?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so. He probably
do a shout out. Do a shout out to him.
Big up Kane. I come here to big yourself up and to bring in your analogy that he done the other
Harry
day.
Kane, yeah, Harry Kane.
He done this one. He goes, all right, if you give a crystal ball to a Tottenham fan 10 years ago, he said, right, we'll get Mourinho in. Yeah, good, yeah. We'll get to Carabao Cup final. Yeah, we'll sack Mourinho. Oh, we'll bring in Ryan Mason. Oh, we'll lose the cup final. Oh, we'll bring in Conte. Yeah, we'll sack Conte. Oh, it was like something like that. It just made me die because it's so up and down, isn't it? Like you move to the stadium and they've like just gone, they've mugged you off from the start. Like they've done with Arsenal, like they've done with us. As he said, he wouldn't mind if he wasn't paying like expensive prices, like how much you paid, and you wouldn't expect it, would you? Like
I don't see how we've progressed since we've moved to this new stadium. I thought with Poch in the old stadium, we were a much better team. I thought we had better players. I also think that it was just more enjoyable supporting the club. Since we've gone to this new stadium, it's just been very corporate, very argumentative, toxic, miserable. We get little tastes of happiness and happy moments, but then it's very quickly taken away from us. I don't know.
Yeah, but when you got Brennan Johnson and Werner, you must feel like proper mugged off. And even like, how's it not? I'm not trying to rub it in here, but when you got rivals, West Ham winning the trophy before you lot, and no one's woken up to go, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Like that should have been a lot. Even my mate Kane said,
but that's partly down to our fans as well, though, Tommy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because fans like me, I said, go for it. I said, it's a trophy. We haven't won a trophy in God knows how long. We can win a Conference Cup, win it, and it automatically gets us into the Europa, which is the next step up anyway. Let's build. But so many fans mugged it off, and so many fans called it the Checker Trade Cup of Europe and things like that. So partly our fans look down at it, and I think that's wrong.
I don't get how any fans can look down at it. No, I know.
But there's quite a few that look down at it, and for me, you're right. When West Ham won that, although it is a bit of a Mickey Mouse trophy, but
I admit
more
that.
than us. But it's more than us. But it's more than us. That's the point I'm making. I'm actually saying
the bin trophy because it looks like a bin. My mate Kane calls it the bin trophy because it looks like a bin, like a silver bin.
It's still a trophy though. It's a European trophy, and it's more than what we've won. So
I know.
You know,
like I've seen you with players like Modric when you have Van der Vaart. Like he's one of my, even though I shouldn't say it, but he was one of my favourite players watching when he was at Tottenham. Van der Vaart, he was unreal. That side.
You're not a West Ham fan. I'm not having this. You're not a West Ham fan. This is absolute rubbish.
I'm a football fan. I don't just look at West Ham. I look at the whole football spectrum. I look at.
Am I going to get clipped? Is this one of those Jeremy Beadle wind-ups? This is a wind-up show.
Put the cameras away. Put the cameras away. No, it ain't. But no,
we got him. We
got him. Still, we got him.
Yeah, we got him. Yeah, we got him.
Yeah. No, it's just I like coming on and like. I think my opinion's very. I think people like me and you, like our opinions are very like, oh, go away, you're negative, go away. Don't say that, you spoil the cart, you know. When you got owners, like like I always put it on owners, and I always think like managers as well. When people go, oh yeah, but the managers, they don't have that, you know, when the players go off on the field, they don't. Yeah, they do. All dugouts lead to the dugout for me. Lead to the manager, 100%. Everything. I think everything does because why has he been put up there for? Why did you give him the big money? Why do you think Man City's running away with it? Yes, you got the owners. Yes, but why do you think they were going on a 4-peat? Pep. Why didn't they do it under Pellegrini? Why didn't they do it under, Mancini?
Do you think Pep, right? Do you think Pep would accept a club signing Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner, Kulu, Richarlison? Do you think Pep would accept that? Because I think one of the reasons Ange is our manager is because he accepts it.
Oh, yeah. He'd be out the door quicker. As soon as he says no, he'd be out the door. He'd be like, go P45, let's go get someone else in. Let's go get Yedinak in. He'll be all right because he'll say yes. 100%. But this is the thing, though. That you want yes man in your club. Like most clubs nowadays, they don't want someone like being like negative or saying no. They try to go, yeah, you say yes and everything. I think it's wrong. I think it's disgusting. But
so would you think of Spurs in the North London derby? What's your take on it?
What I personally think, I've seen it all before. I've seen it where Arsenal have had injuries, Tottenham has injuries. To be honest, I think I don't know. You never know. It could go billions of ways. But honestly, I see Arsenal win it in the 90th minute. Havertz header, bosh. That's what I see. Everyone's getting excited.
If that happens, I'm going to lose it. You know that. If that happens, I'm going to absolutely lose it.
Or I see them wiping the floor 4-0. But I always say it's either you're either going to beat them 1-0, 2-1, or they're going to wipe the floor with you. I don't want them to because I hate Arsenal more than I hate Tottenham, to be honest. Their fans, can't stand them. Can't stand their fans.
We agree on that. We agree on that.
I get told I'm an Arsenal fan, so I do moan about Arsenal because I can't stand them.
Well, listen, someone in the chat here asked a good question, and I'd like to get your take on it. Who's got the better squad, Tottenham or West Ham? You made a lot of signings in the summer. I thought you had quite a good summer window, but looking at results, hasn't quite gone that way so far.
Yeah, but I have a different opinion with transfer. I say you can never judge a transfer window till the end, because it's all right getting these players in by August, but if they don't show up, if you get Messi, Ronaldo, but they don't turn up for the season, it'll be pointless, wouldn't it? You know, if you don't, it's not about the players, it's about the team. I don't care.
If you signed Messi and Ronaldo, you kind of expect them to turn up, though, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I went to the Bournemouth game and we had our B team out. We was awful. Dross, and we had all these new players. That German striker, oh, he's awful. He's slow. We ain't got a big German. We've got a slow German. He was awful.
Fulkerg from Dortmund.
Yeah. I was there. Yeah, Bowen will be playing up top.
I thought he might actually be good for you, but
we never do well with strikers. I've seen awful Mido, Shamak. I've seen absolute dross strikers at my club. Awful.
Shamak, oh my god.
Yeah, Shamak, Mido. We even had Mido for a bit.
Yeah, Mido was all right for us actually. Done all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
We got slightly overweight Mido. You got quite an overweight Mido. You got the full kebab eating Mido.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But starting 11 with us, we've used to. That's what I'm saying. You move to stadium, and no, I'm not being big, but like I'd rather have our front three than yours. Like we got Paqueta, Bowen, Kudus, and then you've got what? You've got Son. I'd take left wing, but then you've got up front Solanke, Richarlison.
Mate, I would take your entire front three over ours except for Son. I'll take Kudus. I'll take Bowden. I'll take Paqueta. I'll take all of those players for me start at Spurs. All of them.
But even saying that, what does that look like? You know, when you moved into this massive stadium and you're saying, oh, even West Ham have got a better free front than us, and no one's waking up to it. Oh, it'll be all right. A couple more windows. Big Angel sort it out. You know, all right, mate. That's the only reason he's loved is because he's positive, isn't he? He goes, all right, mate. So the media love him. You know what the people are like. They'll feed him.
Do you know what it is, Tommy? We went from Poch, which was probably the best we've seen in the Premier League as a Spurs fan, and then we went to Mourinho, which was quite a defensive way of doing it. Then we went to Nuno, which was a disaster. Then we went to Ryan Mason, which was another disaster. Then we went to Antonio Conte, which started off well, but that became a nightmare. And it was just a case of it became really negative and toxic. And whereas Ange came with a positive energy, a more media-friendly vibe, I'm going to attack, front foot football. And it just gave fans breathing space, and it just allowed everyone to jump on something that was hopeful again. But our fans turn very, very quick. And if results don't start coming in, and we've spent a lot of money, we've spent, over 360 million on Ange in a year. If results don't change, I know what our fans are like. They will turn on him. They say now, no, patience, give it time, process. They'll say these things, but in 2-3 months' time, if it carries on like it is at the moment, they'll want him out. Mark my words, they will want him out. I've seen it happen too many times to think otherwise. But Ange was kind of like breathing space. He gave fans breathing space to hope again.
I think at that time, your fans would have accepted anything, any little hope they would have accepted. That's why it would change so quickly. It's because they would have been happy with anything. But these owners, they're not football owners anymore. They're business owners. And they're smart. I admit to say it, they're smart. They know how to run a business. They know how to keep everyone inside. They do. And if people like us, we try to say something, we just pushed under the carpet because they've got 99% of the people under their fingertips. And you can't say anything anymore. That's why I'm glad I gave up my season ticket at West Ham.
Well, we can say something, but we choose not to. We don't protest.
No.
We don't do walkouts.
No, because you feel like the other people won't do it.
They won't do it. You're right. Listen, Tommy, I've got a few other guys to bring on.
No, but
If you want to hang around backstage, I'm going to bring everyone on at the end. If you've got to go, it's fine. But if you want to hang around, feel free, yeah?
no, I was just going to say thank you for having me on and big up the chat and everything.
Mate, whenever we do any of these shows, if you want to come on, jump on. I'll always bring you on. It'll be good. It'll be good to have a bit of back and forth with you as the season goes on to see how we're doing as well. So listen, every 2 weeks I'm going to plan to do it. Just jump on. Just jump on. Feel free.
Yeah, lasagna, by the way. Lasagna. I know you
Get
really
him out of here.
Yeah.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get that guy out of here. All right, let's bring in the next chap. We've got James. By the way, big up to Tommy. For a West Ham fan, he's all right, isn't he? He's all right. James,
hello.
How you doing, brother? You okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You don't support West Ham as well, do you?
No, I'm a Tottenham fan.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You can. Huh?
Yeah. Would you? Yeah. Do you want me to carry on or?
Yeah. Speak. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah. I said that. Like, I think I blame the ownership at this point. I'm done with these guys. I don't spend any money at the club anymore. I stopped that when Potts got sacked. Just that I was about to say. Be fair, you don't have to spend money to get successful. Look at Bayer Leverkusen; they were very successful, but they didn't spend a lot of money, but they spent on right decisions. And Xavi Alonso got them playing like that, and then watching most of their games. It's a bit like they're a bit like Pochettino. Like they were a bit like that also, without actually winning anything. So,
what's your What do you say then to the fact that we've spent £365 million in 12 months?
Yeah, but we spend it on average players.
Right. Let me talk to you about this. Who do you point the finger at for that? Because Angie's saying they're my signings. I'm behind it. Yeah, other fans say he's just saying that because he's a yes man and it's the club that's behind it. I'm stuck in the middle with this because I've always blamed Levy and Enoch, but I've never had a manager that's come out and said me. I don't 100% believe Ange, by the way, but
yeah,
where are you? Where are you with this? Because we've spent a lot of money.
I know. I blame Ange because he wanted Brendan Johnson. Apparently, that's what they're saying. I don't believe any of the Spurs journalists. I don't blame any of the. Yeah, I don't believe him as well because he's another puppet. But I blame Levy for bringing this in. This is basically disruption. And I kind of blame him for. I blame him for Brendan Johnson. I blame him for I don't blame him for Archie Gray, but I blame him for signing crappy forwards like Tino Werner and stuff. So I blame him mostly. That's 60% on him, 40% on Levy. But I've always blamed Levy since Pochettino. I'm done with him. I'm done. The day Pochettino got sacked, I was Levy out. I started to turn on him. You get me? Because I'm tired of him.
Do I get you, Matt Levy out? Do I get? Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I get you. What do you think about the North London derby coming up? They've got no Declan Rice. They've got no Odegaard. There's doubts about Jesus and Calafiori. We have got maybe Van
out.
Well, we don't know actually. In fact, we don't know who's out for Spurs. We might have them all back. We might not. But I
said 1-1.
You got score draw, yeah.
Yeah, 1-1. I don't believe we're going to win. How are we going to beat Arsenal? They've got an amazing team, got a good defence with Saliba. I know they haven't been playing well, but they've been playing well in recent seasons, and they've got a really good squad. I just don't see us winning. I can't see us winning against Arsenal because against these high-line tactics that he plays, this chaotic football, with the high line. I think the defence is the problem, not the attack. Well, I think the attack is the problem. But if you start with defence, maybe you can score some goals. But I think it'll be a storm, just 1-1. I think they'll score first and then we'll get one back.
Do you know, I've got a really bad feeling, that we're going to go 2-0 up, right? We're going to, honestly, we're going to go 2-0 up and everyone's going to say, you see, this dominating football, it does work, but we just didn't take our chances and Solanke scored one of the goals. You see, it does work. You just got to believe. And then we're going to do some really stupid, mind-blowing, typical Spursy things. And we're going to end up drawing 2-2. And we're going to throw it all away. Honestly, that's what I think. It's going to be 2-2. but we're going to throw it away, and then it's just going to it's all going to kick off. Fans are going to start moaning about the defense and how the players aren't right and the tactics let us down. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong, obviously.
No, I hope I'm wrong as well. I just don't think so. I
think it's a score draw. I think it's a score draw.
But the thing is, if Solanke scores, they're going to say it's the greatest forward of all time. This is what they come up with.
Yeah, two on tapping.
Greatest forward of all time, greatest Spurs forward of all time. But yeah,
I do think we've got to give Solanke time, though. Look, it's
not no. But
why not? But why not? Though? But why not? Doesn't he deserve a season to prove he can repeat what he did at Bournemouth?
Yeah, but I didn't want him. This is the problem. People thinking, I wanted Tony.
Doesn't he deserve a season?
Yeah, but when you can sense the players not going to do well, then they're not going to do well.
He's only played one game for us. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But the chance he had against Leicester, he should have buried away. Just hit it straight at the keeper. I'm like, you've got to bury those. Harry Kane would bury those. The top forward would bury those, wouldn't they?
I agree. Listen, I on this one, I agree. That he should have at least for £65 million. You've got to put one of those in the back of the net.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem. When you buy a man-to-man player, I don't. But this is what I get annoyed about is that when Bayern Munich can buy at least say 45 million, and then we get Brandon Johnson, that pisses me off. Oh, sorry for swearing. Because you can get a better player for cheaper, 2 cheaper. It doesn't matter about the price, but at least it was better. And also, you can play in 10 that he did at Palace sometimes. You get what I mean? Yeah. And it's just annoying because we got Savio, right? I watched Savio last season for Girona, right?
Fantastic.
Brilliant. He was so good. And then City signed him and I was like, gutted. I wish you'd have got him.
The problem there is, though,
his C group. Yeah, well, he was at Torres. Yeah, I get you for that, but he's so good though. And Dobbik, why did we not sign Dobbik for 40 million? We should have got Dobbik. Dobbik was great. He was good last season. He scored 26 goals, and he was good at holding the play up. I said, why did we not go get him? Bro, we're going for 40 million.
James, do you ever watch We Are Tottenham TV?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
When we signed Timo Werner, I went on there and I went ballistic, and they clipped the video, and it got thousands of views. And I said, I'm done. This transfer window is going to stink because if you're signing Timo Werner, that's a major red flag. That's a sign of intent. That's the caliber of play you think we need. And I knew we weren't going to sign Eze. I knew we weren't going to sign Tony. I knew we weren't going to sign because when you sign players that aren't good, you're setting the tone. That is, that you believe that's the caliber of player that's going to take us forward. Well, then why would you go and spend 60, 70 million on Eze when you can go and buy an Odegaard for 30 million who isn't at that level because that's more of a Timo Werner type level. And I thought, fans were saying we're going to sign Gyökeres, the striker. And I knew we weren't going to sign him. I knew we weren't going to sign any of these players. So for me,
I agree.
It was no surprise. And I'm glad I went on We Are Tottenham TV because everyone can go back and see what I said 3 months ago. And if you go in the comments, it's nothing but hate, abuse, get this guy off. He hates Tottenham. He's talking shit. Don't let him on. Where are they now? Where are all those people now? Because that's exactly what happened. So now we're hoping Bergvall comes good. Gray comes good. Odegaard comes good. Yang, when he comes in January, he's going to be the next Heung-min Son. We are praying now as opposed to believing. Yeah, we got Eze, we got Tony, we got Gyökeres. We're not believing, we're hoping now. We're hoping.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be doing that. But Daniel Levy should be setting the manager. And I think Pochettino had good talent ID. But no. I think he had better ID than Daniel Levy and Steve Hitchen. But was Steve Hitchen was he just another puppet of Daniel Levy? But we shouldn't be hoping these players become good. We should be signing established players. Do you agree?
I agree. Yeah. Fans are divided on this. Fans say, trust the process. We're building Project Youth.
But they've been saying that for 24 years.
Listen, I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. I'm just trying.
Well,
Just trying to be devil's advocate for the sake of the chat. I don't believe in what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I don't think
but
you can
when we
compete
sign
with City unless you sign quality.
But we can compete with Arsenal because they've got the same similar budget as us. They spend roughly about money of us, but they spend it on quality, and it makes me really angry when they're signing Declan Rice, game changer. We should be doing that under Pochettino. He would have won us 2 league titles. We would have done that. But again, it goes up to the big man, Daniel Levy, who won't continue to ruin this club into a ground. Well, I don't think he wants us relegated, but he just wants to. But did you see the fan forum that is coming out? I put in a comment saying that it's just going to be people who like Levy. They're not going to challenge him. They're just going to ask softball questions to Daniel Levy. They're not going to go, "You're why are you not signing Eze? You told us we were the journalists."
Yeah. Why are you going after the senior citizens? Why was David Pleat treated the way he was? And
yes, exactly. This is the sort of questions you need to be asking him. Not, you did go. We got our Tottenham back, which was a disgrace in our own right.
That was so scripted. There's a guy that comes on our channel once in a while called Ian, and Ian's got shares in Spurs. He bought them a long time ago, and he went.
So does my dad.
Your dad's got shares as well.
A little bit. Like you can get because my granddad bought it for him.
Yeah, so back then it was probably something exciting to do, made sense. He went to an AGM about 20 years ago, and the prices at Spurs had gone up, but we weren't in Europe. We weren't winning trophies. We weren't signing any top players. We were basically in the mud. And he asked a question at the AGM to Daniel Levy and the board and said, why are you putting up the prices? Justify putting up the prices when we've got no Europe, we don't sign top players, and we don't win anything. How can you justify it? And do you know what the response was?
What?
It's a privilege that you're here.
This is what I mean. This is where he doesn't treat the fans.
That's like saying,
a disgrace.
Fuck you. Disgraceful.
But this Daniel Levy's all over, isn't he? He sits there and he thinks we all like him and he's all mates with him. But I get fed up with him. I'm getting bored of him. It just annoys me. Didn't back Pochettino, didn't back Harry Redknapp, one of my favourite ever Spurs manager. I don't regret all these players leaving because they want to go win stuff. And I want to win stuff as a fan. That's all I want to do as a fan. But Daniel Levy doesn't prioritise that. He prioritises Champions League, Project Youth. We'll keep the fans happy. But one thing, right, is that when he sacks Ange, and he will get sacked Ange, he can't get Pochettino just to put the thing because Pochettino's gone to MLS, so he's going to really struggle to do it, but he'll still find a way. Do you get it? Like Ryan Mason, I think Ryan Mason's going to be the Spurs coach.
Mate, I'm going to give it till Christmas before I make a genuine assessment of where I think we're going. But as it stands now, I think the players that we've signed are going to end up letting down Ange's system and Ange's inability to adapt defensively, especially with the rotation of Europe League. I think
he's going to struggle. He should play 3 at the back, though. This is what I said to someone. I said he should play a 3-5-2. Jagusa in the middle, Romero on the right side, Van der Ven, Dogi, and Porro wingbacks overlapping. Then Dominic Solanke, he should give him a role so he can hold up the ball, just feed Song through. Because Song's lost his pace. Just hold the ball and feed him through. So that's what I would do if I was Spurs coach.
I totally agree with you, but he's not going to do that because he's drilled it into them to play this 4-3-3. And he's not going to adapt it because, well, he should, but he won't be. He's not once shown us he'll do that. But listen, James, I've got a couple more guys to go through, to bring on. Hang around in the back because what I'm going to do at the end, I'm going to bring everyone back on. All right.
Thanks so much, man. Thank you. I really love your channel, by the way.
Mate, love you being on the channel. Hang around in the back and I'll bring you on at the end. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Top man. All righty. Let's bring on. I think it's Thamer or Thamer. He can tell me how to pronounce it. How you doing, bro?
Hey, how you doing? Thamer. It's pronounced Thamer.
Beg your pardon, Thamer. Hey, I like your look, man.
Oh, thank you so much. Likewise.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. And let me say, can I just tell you, Stel, right now, thank you. I think it's so brave what you're doing to give possibly dissenting fans an occasion, an opportunity to speak their mind. We're going to disagree on a lot, but I give you
That's
massive
fine.
respect for even giving me the platform to speak my mind. I really appreciate it.
Mate, we can agree, we can disagree. I like to be challenged. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Should I start? Would you like to start?
Yeah. Like, look, bring up whatever subjects are on your mind. Talk about whatever you feel like talking Tottenham football, and we'll just chat.
Absolutely. So we can start with the following. Obviously, you guys can tell from my accent. I'm American, born and raised in New York, still in New York. So maybe some people will see me through the lens of, I'm not a match-going fan, and I completely understand that perspective. That maybe I'm not as invested in the team as maybe some
Will
people.
And Mari, who are two co-hosts of this channel, are both from America. They don't go to games, so don't worry about that.
Fantastic. And just in case anyone's doubting me,
don't worry about that, mate. Don't worry about
that. Just in case. So let's talk about Daniel Levy for a little bit, right? Because Daniel Levy has been getting a lot. He's been getting a lot of hate for many years. You guys on your channel, you talk about him a lot. The way I look at it, it's just my perspective, but it annoys me when people talk about Levy out, because again, I've not been a fan for that long. I've been a fan maybe since 2008, 2007, 2008. From what I understand, I wasn't a fan at the time, but when ENIC took over, we were firmly mid-table, right? And what I tell people is the only reason we, Tottenham, are not where Everton is right now is Daniel Levy. What do you think about that statement? Just that by itself.
I agree. We're not in a relegation battle because of the owners. I agree.
Fantastic. Okay. And a lot of people will say, oh, he's focusing on all this off the pitch stuff. He's building the stadium and the go-karts and the NFL deal and the concerts. I agree that if he had invested some of that stadium money into the squad when Pochettino was still around, we would probably have some trophies in the cabinet. I believe that. However, I do think that it was a good decision long term to build the stadium, because one, much larger stadium, more fans, more revenue from tickets, but also the concerts, the NFL deal, the go-karts, all that stuff. I'm choosing to believe that all of that is providing more revenue, which will then be reinvested into the squad over time. I'm choosing to believe that. Maybe you disagree, but that's why I can be a little bit more patient and look at these decisions a little bit more charitably, because I believe that it's a long-term process, and eventually these decisions were made to keep us financially competitive in a league where you've got financial doping and people breaking the rules and oil teams, spending whatever they want. So that's how I look at it. I don't know if you have any response or.
Yeah, I've got plenty to say.
Yeah, please go for it.
So first of all, when ENIC bought the club, it was very different to when the Kroenkes took over Arsenal, Abramovich took over Chelsea, the Citigroup, the Sheikh Mansour bought Man City. All of those owners, when they took over those clubs, they said, we want to win trophies, we want to win the Premier League, we like to win. They made it very clear that silverware was glory, success was trophies. Our owners have never done that. Even at the end of season chairman's notes, forums, they never say we want to win the league. We want to lift the Champions League. That's what we're striving towards. Because if they do that, we can hold them account to their words. We can say, but you haven't done that, and you haven't done what it took to do that. If you go back to when they first bought the club, so we're going back to 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I've circled in red. This is a statement that was put out when they bought the club. In red, it says, the strategy is to build an international sports and entertainment group to profit from media interest. They've done exactly that. They've built an entertainment group, and they are profiting from the mass media fan interest that has come from the growth of the sport. So they're not here for trophies. They never have been. They never will be. They told us what they were here for, and they've done it. If you look at the 25 years they've been here and you compare it to every 25-year block in the history of the club, the average league position, you could say they've done well. In terms of getting top four, they've done really well. When it comes to trophies, they're a joke. This is the worst period in the entire history of the club, and that's under their watch.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is this. Their job as the custodians and the owners of the club is to put in the systems and processes so that we can be successful. So the sales department, the marketing department, the legal department, the finance department, the transfer committee, the football department, all the different aspects of a business that you need, of a club that you need to all come together and be the best. They've never, ever, 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 ever given their all or what it takes to the football side of things. Because if that was the case, they would have given Poch the rebuild instead of sacking him. They would have given Mourinho that cup final instead of sacking him. They would have given Conte the kind of players he needed when we knew he was a manager before he came to the club. They would have given Ange the exact type of players we need to go to the next level, but we haven't done that. We brought a lot of youngsters that we hope come good. So I've never, ever seen this ownership do the kinds of things that say to me, you're serious about winning trophies. You genuinely mean business. What I have seen are business decisions, wages, transfer fees, balancing the books. And it all comes back to this, Thamer.
Perfect.
Profit, immediate interest. So I hear what you're saying, but there is no evidence at all to back what you're saying. But I can show you evidence to back up why I feel the way I do and why I'm seeing it happen again now.
Sure. Fantastic points. I'll say two things. One, we can believe him or not believe him, but it seems to be common knowledge that, and he said it himself, that Levy is a boyhood Spurs fan, right? And so I'm sure you've seen it, the Amazon documentary a few years ago, All or Nothing with Spurs.
Yeah, of course.
I can't give you the exact quote, but you can go back and find it. He says in those interviews at least once that his ultimate goal is to win the Premier League and that he won't stop until he does it. Again,
he never said that in the Amazon documentary.
Excuse me?
He never said that in the Amazon documentary.
Well, if anyone's watching this who has heard him or does remember the instance that I'm talking, please say it in the chat, and I will be sure to. If I can get your information later, I'll be sure to email it to you when I find it. But I don't think I'm imagining him saying that. Secondly,
he said his goal was to win the Champions League,
the Premier League.
He said my goal is to win the Premier League.
Correct.
No way.
All right, we can. I mean,
listen,
one of us is.
I'm here every 2 weeks. I'm here every 2 weeks on this show. My email address is hello@tottenhamaway.com. Send it to me, and I will gladly be proven wrong on this. There's no way.
Likewise,
and never said I want to win the Premier League.
I'm telling you, man, I don't think I made it up. But if I am, for whatever reason, if I'm misremembering, I'll be sure
to take
my words.
We'll come back to this one.
For sure. And secondly, you make a good point. You've got the graphic about this is our longest trophy drought in history. Almost, it might be.
The worst.
I understand why that's annoying. And again, it comes back to mentality, different people's mentalities, how they interpret things. The way I look at it as a football fan is, and this is definitely somewhere that we'll disagree. I don't think that we, as Tottenham, as the supporter of a team, of a big club, are entitled to trophies, right? No one is entitled to trophies. There's many teams in the football league. Some of them have never won a trophy, right? We're not entitled to trophies simply because we follow Tottenham or we follow a team in the English Premier League. Again, that point of view allows me to be much more patient than maybe somebody else. Because I understand how difficult it is, how many other teams there are striving for these trophies, how many of those teams are in a financially better position than we are. And the third thing that I'll say, if you want to comment on that, feel free. But the third thing that I'll say is you made a point recently when you were talking about you don't feel like Ange has been backed necessarily with the players that he wants this summer.
No, I'm saying we haven't bought the players needed to this summer that can compete for what we as fans want. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm seeing a repetition of the same type of transfer windows that always end up leaving Spurs short come at the end of the season.
And I agree with you that on the surface, it certainly looks like that. It certainly looks like maybe it's another window where we're getting like a Clinton and G or Vincent Janssen or, these kind of bargain deals, right? It seems to me that, and I'm just taking him for his word, what Ange just said, but Ange speaking about both Odegaard and Solanke, in what he has said, he seems to have wanted these players specifically. So I don't think that it's a case of Johan Lange went to him and said, "Oh, well, this is the best we can do," and Ange said, "Oh, whatever, mate. I'll do what I can with them." It seems like with at least some of these younger players who are unproven, Ange wanted them, right? And so,
I agree. Ange has publicly come and said, "I've been backed." He's publicly come out and said that, yeah,
for sure. So I think that again,
I think he's a yes man, though.
Do you think that though? I don't get that impression.
I
I think that he's someone who I think that we would have gotten a sense of his discontent if he wasn't getting what he needed behind the scenes. Or maybe you're right. I don't know, but I just think that.
Do you think Timo Werner for free is the kind of right winger he really wanted?
Perfect. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I take your point. When he was probably the first bit of business we did this summer.
We had to, because it was the expiration date on securing him if we wanted him had to be done first, because there was a time.
Perfect. So he was the first guy that we got in, and it seems like from what you've said that when you saw that, you thought that the rest of the window was going to be rubbish because that's how we started. I have a different point of view.
I just thought it was a sign of things to come. Yeah,
for sure. Fair enough. I disagree in the sense that if Timo Werner is going to be our fifth or sixth, maybe fifth, let's say fifth choice winger or attacker, I think that is we could be in a much worse position than having a German international, as shit as you think he is, as our fifth choice.
But he's not the fifth chois. He came on in games, so he can't be the fifth choice.
Well, he came on because Solanke and Richarlison were both out.
But Solanke and Richarlison are strikers. Timo Werner's a left wide player.
All right, so let's say that we've got everyone fit. Solanke in the middle, Son on the left, Brendan Johnson on the right. Right? It's a question of who is our fourth choice. Is it Werner or is it Odegaard?
It's not fourth choice. Odegaard or Werner would be second choice for the left side, not the fifth choice for the front three, because they're not versatile players. They can't all play across the front three.
Well, they have been, though, and Ange has trusted them to do that.
Because of injuries, he's done that. He's been forced into it. It's not our choice. Because you said fifth choice.
Right. So in the same way, So in the same way that it's injuries that are causing Werner to come on earlier than he would be if everyone was fit, it's the same argument.
No, because if you had five left wingers, then I'd say you've got a point, but we don't have five left wingers.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I don't think that I agree that, well, who would you say is our...
There's your point. So he's not the fifth choice.
So who's the second choice right winger then?
Probably Kulusevski. I think Brennan's first, and Kulu's second.
Which would make Werner our second or third choice left winger, depending on who you rate between Odegaard and Werner.
Yeah.
So okay, so fair enough. I mean, still, I think that.
But the thing is, when you're playing 2 games a week, Europe League, and Carabao Cup, Euro League, then the FA Cup starts. Assuming we do well in these competitions, Werner's going to be playing a lot of games, because otherwise we're going to have injuries playing the same team every single week. You need a squad. So it's not about first, when fans say second choice, third choice, fifth choice, backup, these kind of words, for me, it's redundant, because everyone should be first choice, because you're all going to play if we're going to have a squad that can compete for multiple competitions. And signing Timo Werner is a big drop-off.
Let,
If there was a slight drop-off, I'd say, okay, I can understand this signing. Werner is a massive drop-off.
from
So when we
Son, you're
signed
talking
him, I
about
thought
from Son.
for any player that plays on that side of the pitch, he's a big drop-off. He's nowhere near the levels of what we need to genuinely compete at the top level.
So I'll take your point. So at Werner's best last season, when he was assisting and playing well and going to the byline and getting those crosses in with his left foot, at his best, were you at least okay with his performances? Did you think that this will do for now?
No, I thought it was a disaster when we signed him, and he's part of the reason we didn't get top four. He's part of the reason we crashed out the FA Cup.
It's funny that you say that, because imagine if we hadn't gotten him on loan the second half of the season. Where would we have finished?
Same shit. How many goals did he score?
You don't think we would have finished lower without Werner than if we had him?
Dude, whether we finished fifth or sixth, it's still Europa. I don't think we would have finished seventh or below. No, I don't think he contributed enough to justify bringing him in.
That's fair. So I guess it comes down to
but the point is, it doesn't matter last season. My issue is the fact we signed him at the start of the window, because you spoke about Werner because you took, you're challenging the fact that I said when we signed him this year, it was a sign of things to come.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we sign him again? It makes no sense.
Let me ask you this, Sal.
Wouldn't you rather see one of those young kids from pre-season have that spot? I'd rather a Mikey Moore, a Lancashire, a young player be given that.
I understand. Let me ask you this, Sal.
Timo Werner.
Do you think that we would have brought Timo Werner on loan for this season if Ange didn't want him?
I think if Ange wanted him and he really thought he could be a crucial part of this season, then Ange shouldn't be manager of Tottenham Hotspur, because he doesn't get it.
Okay, then in that case,
and then I would take that back to Daniel Levy and say, why on earth are you signing managers like this?
Then that's where the problem is. Then I think that's where we're at right now. I think that I have no reason not to think. This is what I think. I don't think, like I just said, that we would have gotten Werner on loan if Ange didn't want him. You disagree. You think that we brought him in despite what Ange thinks, which means that you think Ange should leave.
No, I don't know who actually signed this guy. I just knew once we signed him, I'm seeing the past repeat itself. This is how it goes at Spurs. I've seen it too many times. And then the transfer window that happened pretty much proved that to me. Do I think if Ange was given £40 million, go and sign a left wide player, would he have signed Werner? Not in a million years. The reason Werner's here is because it was pretty much a low-cost move. It's a one-year contract, and you just got to pay £8 million in wages.
For sure.
He's at Spurs because of financial reasons, not because he raises the level so that we can actually compete for trophies. Do I put that on Ange, Lange, Levy? I blame everyone.
Sure.
I blame them all.
Is it this is the way I'm interpreting it, is that you're right. Obviously, there are better options than Werner on the left wing. Maybe some of them didn't want to come this year. Maybe we couldn't afford some of those choices. For me, I think that Werner, and again, we're going to disagree about this. I think Werner at his best, and I think Ange believes in him to recreate that his best. Werner at his best is good enough to be a stopgap for us. He will not be with us next year. Next summer,
we said last year. This is what fans said last year, though, Thamer.
Say it again.
This is what fans said last year. When we signed him in January last season, everyone said it's a stopgap. You're overreacting. You just hate the club. This is what I heard. And I said, okay, it's a stopgap. I'll shut up. Then we re-signed him. And now what I'm hearing, he's a stopgap again. What? He's a stopgap. Like,
well, if we had signed him on a free, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're kicking the can down the road. We're using the same. We're basically recycling excuses. That's how I'm interpreting it. Because how can it be he's a 6-month stopgap and now he's actually going to be an 18-month stopgap?
Well, you have to look at it. I mean, Ange needs to figure out. Ange only has, or the club, Levy, Ange, us as a team, as a club, we only have a certain number. We only have a certain amount of money to spend in a certain, in all the positions we need. if it's Ange and the clubs and Lange and Levy's determination that even from last summer, maybe they had a feeling that they might want to renew Werner for, make it an 18-month stopgap. Maybe that was the plan all along. All I know, I'll put it to you this way. If Werner is playing for us next season, I'll hold my hands up and say, Stel, you're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is
what fans said to me last season. This is exactly what they said last season. And now they're not you, because this is the first time I've spoken to you, but
for sure,
fans said this last season, and now they've extended it for an extra season. In January, we've got Yang coming.
Well, I'm not. When I say stopgap, what I mean is, I don't know how to describe this. I mean, to me, you'll think that this is ridiculous, but to me, it's smart. It's smart business to get a player. You think he's rubbish, to get a player of Werner's caliber.
Caliber at what? What's he done? What's he done at Spurs? He's got the worst shooting accuracy at Spurs last season. He's got one of the worst big chances missed. He's got the least amount of goals scored, and he plays as an attacking forward. We've got an attacking forward who can't score goals. This is, and you're looking at Spurs right now. We've got all this domination, all this possession, all this attacking, and we can't score goals. Why? Because we've signed players that aren't finishers across the front three. This is the problem we've got. Werner adds to the problem. We've got Yang coming in January. When Yang comes, what happens to Werner then? He's going to sit there for 6 months doing nothing. It doesn't make sense.
You think Yang is going to overtake Werner when Yang comes in?
Well, then why is Yang coming?
Because he's a wonder kid. He's a gem. He's clearly not going to be ready to make an impact when he comes in.
If he's a wonder kid, he's a gem. That sounds better to me than Werner.
So you would rather have Mikey Moore starting, or not starting, but you would rather play Mikey Moore on the left wing than Timo Werner in a Europa League game, for example, that we need to win?
I would rather you play ahead of Timo Werner in any game.
You flatter me, Stel. You flatter me, but we're not going to agree on that. Then we're not going to agree on that.
I just don't get. I want to pick up on something you said as well, where you said that we have no right to be entitled. Okay, I've never once said we are entitled to win trophies, but as a Big Six club, I do not want fans to call us a big club if we don't win trophies. Because the reason clubs are big is because they win trophies. You name any big club. Name me 3 big clubs right now. Any ones you want in world football, English football.
Man U, Real Madrid.
They've all won. They've all won multiple trophies in the last 5 years.
Sure.
The last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's why they're big clubs. So on the one hand, Spurs fans want to say to me, "Oh, we're not entitled to win trophies." But at the same time, they want to say, "But we're a big club. Levy's made us a big club." Bullshit. If Levy's made us a big club, where's the trophies to back that up?
I agree.
Okay, good. All right, as long as you agree we're not a big club, then I can accept that. Then I can accept the entitled argument. I can meet you halfway on that.
For sure.
But we're called a Big Six club.
Yeah, it's a bit hypocritical for us to refer to ourselves or think of ourselves as a big club without the silverware to.
That's fair enough.
Back it up for sure. I was talking to a friend of mine about this recently. I feel like, how much patience are you willing to give Ange? Because even your last guest, the guy who was on before me, was talking about how Ange he's stubborn and he needs to change, and he's too naive and stuff like that. The way I'm looking at it is the way Ange wants to play, and this is a quote that he said it last year at some point. He said, "I want to play a brand of football that scares the life out of the opposition." Right now, in and of itself, that type of football would take a while to implement, to get to where you would need to go to deal to put up a good match against Arsenal or Liverpool or City. Add into that the fact that we've been playing abysmal dinosaur defensive football for the past 3 years under Conte and Mourinho. All of that put together, that I'm giving Ange a lot of leeway, right? I'm giving him a lot of time, maybe more time than most fans would, because I understand how difficult and how brave our players need to be to play this type of football. I mean, it seems to me like the type of football he wants to play is the type of football that you can know it's coming, but you can't do anything about it. And that, go ahead.
Mourinho got us to a cup final. Conte got us back into the Champions League, and they both had far worse teams than what Ange has got. Yes, they had Harry Kane, but Ange has got a defense far superior than what we had, and a far better midfield than what they had. So I think with what Conte and Jose did with what they had, they've proven they're elite compared to Ange. I'm prepared to give Ange until Christmas before I make a true assessment, because for me, Thamer, I'm going to bring on one of our co-hosts because he's saying I need to come on. So I think he wants to speak with you.
Sure.
He's a good guy, Maz.
Sure.
But for me, I'm not impressed by the summer window, and I think it's going to come back to bite us hard. And I've been here before many a time, which is why I say I'm not just going off of knee-jerk reactions. I've supported this club too long to think differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'll wait until Christmas before I make a real assessment of where it's going. Also, whether he's got his players or not, there is no way anyone's going to convince me the way we defend is sustainable. No one's going to convince me of that. And again, if he proves me wrong, I'll tell you what, I'll be blown away, and I might actually say he's the best manager I've ever seen, because how he's pulling this off is unreal. So that's where I'm at with the manager. But I'll give him till Christmas, because I think he deserves time to show us what he's done with this squad for a year and what these new players will bring to the table. So let me quickly bring on Maz. Thamer.
Absolutely.
Maz, you've got 5 minutes because I've got people in the back that want to come on.
No worries. I'm not going to take much time. Hi, Thamer.
Hey,
By the way, Thamer, you're a great guest, by the way. I just want to say big up to you.
I wanted to come on because you are a great guest, and I think you put your points across really well. But I just wanted to cross-examine you a little bit on the entitlement statement you said. What gives you the impression that any of the fan base is entitled? Like, what have they specifically said to make you think, oh, we are Tottenham Hotspur, therefore we demand trophies over and above someone else?
Well, I mean, it wasn't a dig at us specifically. I think football fans in general are entitled and fickle for sure. But I mean, Spurs fans have been complaining every year that I've been a fan that, no trophies. We get bantered by other clubs for no trophies, and that hurts us, and we complain about that. So that's what I mean when I say that, when fans are complaining about the trophy drought, of course we're going to complain about the trophy drought, but at the same time, it's very difficult to win trophies. And
but that's what I wanted to discuss specifically, right? I don't think anyone denies that it's difficult to win trophies, because ultimately we're in arguably the best division in the world. World football, if not maybe second best in the Liga. And with the amount of quality in the division, of course, by proxy, it's then very difficult to win things. However, there's nothing wrong with having the ambition or the expectation that the club should at least compete for trophies or an attempt to win trophies. And one of the things that effectively forms those ambitions and expectations, I wouldn't use the word entitlement, because it's not a birthright that the club's created, therefore we expect to win. But what's happened is that our history tells us that we should be winning because of the way the club's formed over the last 144 odd years, or however long we've been on this earth, right? So I have a big problem when fans say that we're not entitled to win anything, because entitlement is a completely wrong word to use, because no one's ever been, no new Spurs fan has been born and thought, we must win a trophy just because we're Tottenham. We want to win trophies because of our history, and our history tells us that we have been winning trophies and now we're not. So do you understand my reasoning?
100%. But can I ask you, Maz, it seems like a lot of fans only, they will judge Levy and the owners on whether or not we are going for trophies on one or two metrics, chief among which is what are we spending, who are we spending it on? Of course, those two things probably have the most immediate impact on whether or not we win trophies. I understand that. However, as I mentioned earlier with Stel, I think that the decisions that Levy has made to build the stadium in the first place, to have an NFL deal, to have the concerts in there, to have the go-kart underneath. Again, what are we choosing to believe? I'm choosing to believe that Levy took those not necessarily to line his own pockets, but to bring in revenue to the club, which will then be eventually used to reinvest in the squad. Who knows?
Thamer,
right, I'll end it there.
Let's say one thing,
Maz.
Can I
this
say
is
one
a
thing?
different show.
I'll just say one thing on this.
Go for it.
Brighton and Hove Albion, who are far smaller than what Spurs are, they spent more this window than Tottenham. So,
yeah, but right. But didn't we spend what, third most, fourth most? We spent more than Liverpool. We spent more than City.
But
did we
my
not?
point is, but my point is, Brighton and Hove Albion, who are a far smaller club, without the revenues you described, no NFL, no concerts, no 62,000 seats, none of that, they spent more than us. So if what you said was true, that Levy's positioned us to take advantage of more financial power, he's not showing it. He's showing it in drips and drabs and in moments, but he's not truly showing it. If he went out this summer and we spent 200 million and we signed 3 or 4 really top players on high wages, you'd say this guy, he means business. We've not seen this before at Spurs. Now I get it, but he still hasn't done that.
Yeah, and I'll finish on this point, Stel, because we said 5 minutes, so I want to stick to that.
Yeah.
If the owners, Thamer, have ambition to win, right, and you look at all of the footballing models, certainly of the most successful teams in Europe, we're not copying any of those models, because none of the successful teams, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, with the exception of Man United once 25 odd years ago when Ferguson brought through that young group of players, have done the model that we've chosen to do, which is by lower quality players from the bottom 10 of the division, right? And try to, well, I haven't seen it, but for argument's sake, try and qualify for the Champions League and win FA Cups, League Cups, and titles.
Mm-hmm.
None of them do that. All of the top teams, the Liverpools, the Man Uniteds, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, they go out and buy quality players and they supplement those quality players with some of their youth. You could argue in the first 10 years of Levy's tenure, he's tried to sort of do that. Certainly in the latter half of his tenure, he's gone completely away from that because of bad decisions him and his team have made at Spurs.
Sure.
But anyway, I'll finish on that.
Can I just make one last point? Stel, can I just make one last point? Would you guys at least agree with me that the youth that we have signed this summer, last window, meaning last summer and the winter window, that youth is of a different quality than we have ever bought before, right? Archie Gray, 18 years old, okay, but in the championship team of the season, Bergvall, Swedish international, Yang, South Korean international. We have not, again, who knows how they'll turn out, but just in terms of potential, I don't think in the past the youth that we've bought has had this high of a ceiling. And for all of our sakes, I hope that they turn out to be
Brian Gill, Spanish Youth International, Jack Clark, English Youth International. Until they step on the pitch in a Spurs shirt and for a whole season prove it, I can't answer that question. I can't say yes or no.
So you're giving them a season then instead of until Christmas, you said?
The youngsters deserve a season. Yeah, okay, you're joking. But the youngsters deserve a season. But are they going to get the minutes? I don't think they will. I think Bergville will. Don't think the rest will.
Anyway, see ya. Bye-bye.
Maz, take care. I think Mikey Moore, though, is one we need to push up and play because he looks the business. He does look it. But again, he's young. He's 17.
Agreed.
But listen, Thamer, stay in the back. I've got one or two more to fans that want to have a say. And I'm going to bring everyone back at the end and everyone can have a big debate about it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Stel.
Brother, listen, thanks for bringing it to the table, man. Come on every 2 weeks. You're more than welcome. As the season goes on, you might be able to call me out on Werner if you start scoring, or I can remind you what I told you about Werner. We'll see how it goes.
Will do. Looking forward to it.
All right, brother. You take care.
Cheers.
Stay in the back. I'll bring you in about 10 minutes.
Will do.
All right. Listen, big up to Thamer. That's what we want, people. We want all different opinions and views on the channel. Love it. Rigkatic. How you doing?
Hello, Stel. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. We're having a good show tonight. Everyone's having their say.
How was your 3 days off?
How have you been?
I've been good. So yeah, I wanted to talk about. Do you think we will ever have another like big manager like Conte, Mourinho during like the Levy area?
No.
Or you think that's like gone after we all have seen like what's happened during those guys?
Mourinho and Conte put Daniel Levy in his place. They both basically said to Daniel, "We are bigger than you. You might own Tottenham, but we are bigger than you." And I think Daniel Levy got schooled, and he paid millions to these managers, millions to Mourinho and Conte. Right? They pulled his pants down. They schooled him. So for me, it's going to be more Pochettino's, Ange's, De Zerbi's, that kind of level. We're not going to. To answer your question, no, we're not going to bring in a top.
Do you also think that's why Ange won't like go against Levy? I'm saying this because like he hasn't had like any big clubs, and we know like Levy can fire him with like that, and just have like Ryan Mason as his replacement within like 5 minutes. Could that be the reason why Ange like doesn't like go against him? Because he's afraid like, okay, if this Tottenham chance is like gone, then he's like done for, and he will never have like a big-ish club.
This is Ange's biggest paycheck ever, right? So for him,
yeah, exactly.
He speaks about retiring and living in Greece on the islands and whatnot. So this is going to practically pay for it. And as for Levy, if he does want to sack Ange, what's the compensation? Ange is on £2 or £3 million a year. The compensation is the total compensation for Ange is half of what he was paying Mourinho in 1 year. So even it's an easy firing for Daniel Levy in terms of payment. Ange has got a great payday. It works for both of them, I guess. So you're probably right.
Yeah, because like, and I'm saying like big clubs. I'm also talking about, let's say, like Brighton and those clubs. If they have seen like Ange going fired at Spurs within a year, and I actually agree with you about like, I don't think Ange has been like fully backed, because I still remember like when he first came to us from Celtic. They were like, you're not allowed to buy anyone from Celtic within a year, within a span of 1 year or 6 months or something. And he knows those players, and those players could work. For example, Matt O'Reilly, he could have worked at Spurs. And he was like 25 million, 30 million, something like that. It's nothing.
I think he went to Brighton for 25 million, yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing. Even like Dobik, who you guys mentioned before, he was like 25 million as well.
If you want to try and make sense of our recruitment and understand how we do transfers, good luck, Rinketic. I mean, good luck. I've been trying to make sense of it for 20 years and I still don't get it. But you know, a lot of fans think that we had a good summer window. They think it's very promising and the future's bright. I'm the kind of fan that says I need to see it. Like, show me.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Brennan Johnson justify 50 million. I haven't seen Timo Werner justify his salary. Solomon came in, Solomon went out. Veliz came in, Veliz went out. We're looking at Odebert. I'm sorry, I've not seen any end product from Odebert. It's only been 2 games, but so far I've not seen anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're looking at the youngsters.
The same.
Oval hardly plays. Gray hardly plays. What am I looking at? What am I seeing from this transfer window? Solanke, look, unfair to even judge him at all because he's been injured. We just don't know anything yet, right?
Yeah.
But you look at the transfer window. What's changed? You know,
it's kind of like when people talk about Timo Werner, and some people actually don't know this. He actually left Leipzig because he couldn't compete at the striker position, and then he couldn't compete as a winger either. And more or less, Julian Nagelsmann said, "Yeah, you need to play more to be able to be in the Euro squad." That's why he went to Spurs in the first place.
Listen, Rinketti,
because he was forced out.
We were told this, right? These were the images going around the internet. Neto, Eze, Tony. This, for me, this is quite exciting because I think all 3 of these players changed Tottenham. An exciting midfielder, a brilliant dribbler, and a proven striker. What we got, right? What we got was this. How can you go from this to this and then say to me, good window?
Yeah, I said it like a few times before. Like, I don't mind like these youngsters, but if he got like an S as well, for example, he could also teach like the future like kids how to be a good winger or a midfielder. Like, for example, he could teach Michael Moore how to progress. He could teach XYZ how to progress, or Young, the Korean kid. He could teach him how to progress. But right now they're learning from Timo Werner and Brendan Johnson. It's like, may I ask you something as well? Because this was way before my time. I wasn't even born, I think. How was like the transfer windows during Sugar and all those guys before?
Awful.
Because I heard like Sugar was also like awful.
Awful. We signed some really crap players. We signed Jurgen Klinsmann, who was a fantastic striker, World Cup international, World Cup winner. He was brilliant. But in general, we signed some shocking players, some really bad players. But the problem is, people say, it was terrible during the 90s. Well, what's much better now? The league position's better, I agree, but the trophies haven't improved. We've signed some shocking players under Levy, and Alan Sugar had 9 years in the job. Daniel Levy's had 24. So it's hard to compare. If you look at the first 10 years, look at the first 9 years of Daniel Levy. It was shit. It was crap. Yeah. So if you compare 9 versus 9, no difference. If you're going to compare 24 years against 9, well, that's not a fair comparison, I don't think. I don't think that's a fair way to assess, which is why I tried to do this. I tried to do a 24-year comparison. So I don't think we've got worse, but I don't think we've got amazingly better. I think we're the same, but we look on the outside as if it's much better because of the stadium, the sponsorships, the money. We got into Champions League quite a few times. But in terms of being a team that can compete and genuinely win trophies, I don't think we've ever done that except for under Poch. But then we hit the self-destruct button. So
yeah, and
the 90s were pretty bad. The 90s were pretty bad, to answer your question.
It was bad, but
we won 2 trophies.
Like when I read about it and studied about it, like in general, there were we had actually a few top players anyway. Like we have Klinsmann, who you mentioned before, and the other guy who went to Arsenal, for example, and there were a few top players. Yeah,
Sol Campbell was an excellent footballer. It was a very good player. He's a Judas, so we don't talk about him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Ginola and a few other top players, and I felt like under Levy we haven't had that except during under Polish.
You getting told off for being too loud?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Well, listen,
yeah, but
Rinketic, because I'm just looking at the clock. I've got one more person to bring on, and then I'm going to bring everyone back in who stayed behind. All right? Are you okay to wait 5 minutes?
Yeah, may I ask you something real quick though? May I ask for some football drills and stuff and and if you can send them to me via email?
What do you want me to send you?
Football drills, like manager drills and stuff.
You got my email, yeah?
Yep.
Email me specifically what you're looking for, and then I'll send you what you need. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hang about. Big up to Rinketic. I think the last one is it Spurs Analyst. You there, Spurs Analyst?
Yes, Dale. How you doing, man?
Hey, back again. Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. We're doing what we do, talking Tottenham, talking Spurs, trying to find hope.
Well, big up to you, man. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up for everybody for coming on tonight. Fair play to you all. Core, aren't we a depressed lot, aren't we? Oh my God. I mean, Levy, what he's done to us all. He's sucked the life out of everyone. Sorry, Stel, mate, but I've been watching all night. And yeah, the bloke who came on before the bloke who come on last, yeah, he was different. But my God, look, we got a massive game at the weekend. You know, we need to get behind the team. I'll put aside. We will. I know we will. But to put aside all the dramas, all the disappointment, the criminal transfer window, we got to win on Sunday. We must win. And I'm predicting a win. What do I think is going to happen? I'm predicting a win. I am. I mean, yeah, I do. I just think with some of the players Arsenal got missing, hoping Solanke's back. You know, we need him. We need someone to put the goals away. And I just think these players, they need to step it up on Sunday. It's a derby. Yeah, they need to go for it. And, you know, I don't know. I've got a lot to say about it, but what do you think, Stel? I know you're sitting on the fence a bit, going with a draw. Yeah.
Well, I don't trust the players either. You know, Maddison's coming out saying we know what this game means to us. Really? Well, did you know what it meant to us when we were 3-0 down last year, mate? You know, Spurs players, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. I don't think Arsenal going to batter us like some fans have said. I don't think that for 1 second. I think we'll be the better team on the day, and I think we're going to take it to them. I do think we'll go for it. And I think it'll be similar to previous games where we have a team pinned back. We'll create some chances. There'll be a lot of possession. But I think Arsenal will take that. I think Arteta will adapt and be more pragmatic, and he'll be happy to absorb the pressure because he's got a defense and a goalkeeper good enough to do it. And Partey's more than good enough to sit in front of the back four. So I think they're going to be a really difficult team to break down. I think we will break them down. But my concern is for however many goals we score, we're going to do something stupid defensively and tactically and let them back in. So I think we're going to come out of the game angry that we haven't won because we're going to gift it. We're going to gift them a draw. And we'll be the better team. I do think that's going to happen. Look, if Arsenal come and pound us and completely play us off the park, I'll be gobsmacked because I don't think at home any team's going to do that to us. I think teams will come to us.
Do you think, Stel, that they're going to adjust? Do you think Arteta's going to adjust his tactics for that game?
Yes. Any manager with a brain will adjust to Spurs because we're easy to read.
And what do you think that is, just going a bit deeper and playing on the counter?
Yeah, do you remember last season when Arsenal went away to the Etihad and they were really super defensive and they got a 0-0 draw? I think he might come with that approach, but not as defensive. He won't be as defensive as that. But I think he'll know that if you attack the flanks, if he can release Saka, he can release Martinelli, he can release Trossard into the space, he knows we're in trouble.
But who's going to pick him out though, Stel? Because Odegaard's out. Who's going to be that man in their midfield who's going to play them balls?
Partey can play those balls. Jorginho can play those balls. Havertz can drop into the midfield, although I don't think he's good in that midfield. I think they might play Trossard in the 10. And he might be a bit of a deeper playmaker. The thing is as well, we don't know, because if Van de Ven doesn't play, that's a real fucking problem for us. If Van de Ven plays, suddenly you think, do you know what? Maybe we can nick it. Maybe we've got the upper hand. It's so hard to tell without seeing who's available. But I've just got this feeling we're going to draw it, mate. I think we're going to draw 2-2. I hope I'm wrong.
It's the safe option, isn't it? It's the safe option to draw, I think. Yeah. I think a lot of people are predicting the draw.
I'm looking at how the season's gone. and I'm looking at players missing for Arsenal. And I'm trying to guess who's going to be missing for us. That's why I'm saying a score draw. I don't think we've got the firepower to score enough goals to win it. I don't believe in us up front. I think our front three are shit. I don't think that Son is the only one. I think the rest are just very average. Whereas if we had a Kane, if we had a Neto, if we had an Ivan Toney, maybe I think we can win it. But we don't. We don't have those players.
So Solanke, you're really not sure about him, are you?
I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to play.
If he plays.
If he plays, maybe we can nick it. Maybe.
Okay.
But at the same time, without Van de Ven, I just fear it. Any game we play without Van de Ven, I just fear it. I lose confidence.
No, I hear that, man. Me too. I think, we need to be clinical, and that's what we haven't been doing this season. And also the set pieces as well, which worry me. You remember the game at the Lane last year?
I don't know what it is, but your mic's crackling. It wasn't crackling before. Are you touching something?
Is that any better now, Stel?
No, it's cracking.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's cracking. Don't worry.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. Let me switch off the earphones and just use the speaker. Just bear with us.
Yeah. Okay.
Better now, Stel. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Sorry, buddy.
No.
My internet.
Don't worry. We'll get through it. I think we're better at set pieces this season, though. We haven't really done too badly against set pieces.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. We've done okay.
We've done all right.
But, Arsenal, they're specialists, aren't they, at the set pieces? So, yeah, we've got to be on that, and that worries me. And again, being clinical, we'll create chances. I'm sure we will. It's just, are we going to put them away? And that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day for me.
And that's what I mean about our front three. I don't rate Brennan. See, our front three's record against the top 10 is awful. And all the weight, all the pressure is going to be on Son. Also, I think we've put a lot of pressure on Solanke. Everyone's saying when Solanke comes back, the amount of pressure we're putting on him to be the saving grace, to be the missing piece to this puzzle. That's. I guess it comes with a price tag, 65 million. I guess he's got to step up.
It's a big if. It is a big if still. Solanke performing on Sunday and throughout the season. But I look at Arsenal, they haven't got a natural striker. And I think Solanke possibly could be the difference on Sunday because he is actually a striker. I hope so. Yeah. But again, we must win. And I'm worried if we lose, because if we lose that, we could be near the bottom of the league. We're not far away from the bottom as it is now. It's so important to win this game.
What if we draw?
A draw is a draw. We have to take it. Arsenal are a good side. It depends how they play on the day. Depends on kind of what happens in the game. For example, say we have lots of chances and Arsenal just nick a couple on the counter, then I'll be disappointed still. I will be, because the game was there to be won. So it really depends on the game and how it plays out. And I look at Arsenal. If Arsenal were kind of, attacking as much as we are and deserve something out of the game, then fair enough. So we'll have to really see. We'll have to see.
Do you do you think if we don't win this game, there'll be a ripple effect for the next games coming up? Because we've got Coventry midweek in the cup. Then we've got, Brentford at home? Then we've got United, Bournemouth. Brighton, Carabao Cup, West Ham. Because if we don't beat Arsenal, that's 5 points out of 12. We'll be bottom half of the table. Do you think it puts a lot of pressure on the squad going into the next kind of 5-6 games?
Massive.
Or do you think it's too early? It's too early to.
No, it's not too early because this is Ange's second season. Look at the start we had last year, and it is a regression for me. It's a regression. Now the Carabao Cup game doesn't worry as much, but going to places like Brighton away, Old Trafford, even I think we've got West Ham at home. They're tricky fixtures. So that's why this game on Sunday is so crucial to get the confidence up, get the 3 points. We have to find a way. Anyway, if it comes off someone's arse, it goes in, we win 1-0. I don't care. We've got to get them 3 points somehow.
Big game, man. We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Pressure's on.
It is. I think the pressure is on. Listen, Analyst, I keep saying I've got one more, but then another person comes back. I've got some more guys to speak to. So listen, I'm going to love you and leave you. But for sure, next time we're on, make sure you jump on.
I will do, buddy. Take care of yourself, man. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, the Spurs. Ryan, Rinketic, Cold Army in the back. I don't think I'm going to have time to bring everyone on because every time I think that's the last person, another person comes on in the background to bring on. So I don't think I'm going to have time to bring us all at the end, guys. Sorry. All right. Thanks for waiting. Sorry to have wasted your time. I'm going to bring on Teslim next. Teslim, how are you doing?
I am actually very well. Can you hear me?
I remember you. North London Narratives. How are you doing, brother?
Oh,
how are you
my
doing?
God. I'm very fine, thank you.
Come on, man. Preach.
Okay. So before I start, I feel like what I was about to talk about, you have touched upon it when you were talking to the last person. Yeah. So
Teslim, put your microphone volume up a bit.
Yeah.
Put your microphone volume up a bit.
All right. Can you hear me better now?
Much better. That's it. Go for it.
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like what I was about to talk about, you touched upon it when you were talking to the last person. So I'll start with that. So this North London derby we're about to play, I have some concerns. I've seen a lot of people talking about how people like Odegaard might be out, Rice might be out, etc. And I'm actually very concerned that those players are out. And hear me out. So there's something that Arteta has shown me that Ange hasn't shown me, and that is adaptability. And I was actually very surprised because watching Arteta last season and over the years watching him evolve as a manager, I've seen him in matches against City, in matches against Tottenham, where he has sat back and played on the counter. And that's something that I feel like and will not do for whatever reason he has. And knowing how Tottenham Hotspur play and knowing that their key players for them are out, Arsenal are going to sit back. And why I'm even more scared than last season is because last season they went 3-0 up against us. I think that was in our home, right? Was it still when they went 3-0 up?
Yeah. It was the last time we played Arsenal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Was it in our house? Like, was it in our home?
Correct.
Was he at the Tottenham Sports Stadium?
Yes.
Okay. So they went 3-0 up in our stadium. And this was with players like, I think, Trossard, I think Kai Havertz and Saka. And Saka and these guys are not players that are like very fast. Now, what terrifies me is that now they have Martinelli, they have Sterling. So they actually have players that can actually sit back and counter. And that defense of theirs, it is already a problem to pass through it, even when they play their normal football. Talk less of them actually sitting down there and saying, okay, break us down. I am actually very concerned. And I feel like I'm not saying we're going to win or we're going to lose, but in my head, just the combo of Arsenal already having a good defense, sitting back now to defend, trying to counter us, and having people like Sterling and people like Martinelli, who are very quick players, breaking on us. I have some concerns about that. So yeah, basically, that's all I have to say. Let me know your thoughts on all I said. I have something else to talk about, but let me know your thoughts on all this I said so far.
I think I pretty much said exactly the same thing with the last with the Dan list, the Spurs Dan list. I was saying how Arsenal have got a very good defense and Partey can sit in front, and they might just give up possession, knowing that we can't break them. And if they can get Saka free, Martinelli free, Trossard free. I forgot they had Raheem Sterling. I'm glad you mentioned that. If they can get Raheem free, they know they can cause us problems. And we as Spurs fans know this is not a good look. So, of course, it's gonna be difficult, man. But at the same time, if we take chances, we can get goals. I do think we can. It's whether we take our chances or not. But at the moment, we're not. And it's because we don't have good players up front. We just don't. We don't have the quality. So hopefully Son does what he always does and scores against Arsenal.
All right. So that leads me into my second point. I'm not sure after which game I had a rant on my channel, and I had to wait all day before I made that video because I was losing it. I'm not even joking. I was losing my mind, and I had to wait all day because I wanted to be in my most rational state. I wanted to be as rational as possible and not go there and be emotional and just say stupid things. I wanted to calm down and just relax and think through everything. So after I don't know which game exactly, and I was so pissed. I didn't know who to be pissed at. Whether to be pissed at Lange, to be pissed at Ange, or to be pissed at Lee. Now let me explain why. So these two games that we've lost, Ange has said something that he has been saying throughout last season, that we are not clinical enough. Now, this is something that Ange was saying last season. And the players that we had last season in the attack, somehow, Ange kept them. For whatever reason, I don't know. Kulusevski was here last season. He's still here. Werner was here last season. Werner is still here. Son, whatever you think of him, I'm not saying he's not clinical, but he was here last season. He's still here. Richarlison is still here. I don't know. I think, okay, we sent out Manu Solomon on loan. But basically, all the players, Brennan is still here. Now, these players that you were saying last season cannot finish their dinner are the same players playing for us this season. Now, this manager is saying the same thing he was saying last season, that we're not clinical enough up front. This makes me go mad because at the same time, while you're saying we're not clinical enough up front, you are coming out to say you've been backed. So, Ange, which is it exactly? Like, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but like, if you're saying you've been backed, and at the same time you're saying these players are not clinical enough,
this has been a big discussion.
I don't understand it. I feel you. I don't understand it, and it has been running me mad because I was so pissed and I did not know who to direct my anger at. I'm not an uncle, Jesus Christ. I'm only 20 years old. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. But yeah, he called me uncle, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you calling me uncle? Is it because of my
Don't worry.
camera? No,
Listen.
I'm not that old.
Don't worry about the comments.
I'm not that
Don't worry
old.
about the comments.
I'm not that old. But like, I was so frustrated because I was like, bro, if you're telling
This is
me
what
that
happens. This is what
if
happens
you're
when your
telling me that,
camera. This is what happens when your camera doesn't work and people can't see you. This is what happens.
don't worry, I will fix it. I will fix it. And when I do, you people will see my face. Don't worry. If you want to see me, if you're that desperate to see me, go to my channel. My channel name is there. Go to my channel. But when I fix it, you guys will see my face. But yeah, I was actually
there, right there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Thamer. Thank you so much, Thamer. But yeah, basically, I was actually very frustrated because I'm like, bro, you're telling me that the players are not clinical enough, and at the same time, you're saying that these signings are your signings. Where exactly am I meant to believe? Where, like, am I meant to place the blame? It's so annoying, basically. So let me know your thoughts on what I just said.
I think everyone's to blame. I think Ange's to blame because I think Ange's to blame because he needs to learn to shut up. I think Lange is to blame because he's part of the recruitment team. I think that Daniel Levy's to blame because he hires all these people, and this always seems to happen. So I think again, it's a collective problem. But at the end of the day, there's only so many times it can happen before you say this is a club failure. And he runs the club. He's the head of the chair of the board. All roads will always lead back to him. But you know, we're going to have to wait and see how this season pans out. Teslim, listen, I've got one more guy to bring in, but I want to ask you a question before you go. Sorry. What's your prediction for the North London derby and why? Why is your prediction what it's going to be?
Should I be honest?
No, lie. No, lie.
I have no clue what to expect. I have no. Oh my God. I have no clue what to expect. I actually have no clue what to expect. Because one minute, yeah, well, I watched the game against Leicester and we are creating chances and we need our right back to score. The next game, because I'm currently taking driving lessons. I go for my driving lessons. I'm seeing Tottenham is scoring 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, what's going on? Okay, I'm hearing about Odebe. I watched the next game because after hearing about Odebe, that Odebe guy, I have some question marks about him because everybody was reading about him after Everton. I went back to watch the highlights and all I saw was him passing back. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the problem here. Maybe I'm the one that's not doing something. Then I watched the game against Newcastle. The same thing. He's passing back. He barely beats a man. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's because he has just come into the team. Maybe he would finally, he's still young. He needs to feel feel part of the team before he starts doing his thing. And I'm praying for his sake that he starts taking a man on because that is what everybody told me this guy was going to do. I said,
but what's your gut feeling about the game?
Yeah.
What's your gut feeling about the game?
My gut feeling about the game.
Yeah.
I have, genuinely speaking, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect. And that's the problem. I don't know what to expect because I understand that we're not very clinical, but on our day, I believe we can beat Arsenal. The problem is, will that day be on the day of the match? So I will just go out there and say, you know what? Put my head on the line. I don't know what to expect, but let me just say scoreline 2-1 to Arsenal. They win. I don't know what to expect, Benini.
Arsenal to win 2-1. Arsenal to win 2-1, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teslim, brother, we'll speak soon, everyone. North London Narratives on YouTube. Listen, he's an entertaining Spurs content creator, so make sure you go and follow and subscribe to his channel, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Teslim,
thank you so much.
Fix
your camera.
Fix your camera.
I will. I will. Don't worry. I will. I will.
All right, brother.
I will. No
Listen,
problem.
take care of yourself, yeah?
Yeah, you too, man. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. All right, the last and hopefully the best. We've got Hugo.
Oi, 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 oi,
coming
oi.
on. How you doing, Hugo?
Nice one, Stel. Hey, sorry for coming on so late. I've just come back from work and I wanted to
Mate,
get
don't
5
worry
minutes
about
to
it.
talk to you.
It's all good. It's all good.
Because every time you come on YouTube, right, you're pretty spot on about the games and about the performances. And I just sort of wanted to get your general. Obviously, we've got the North London derby coming up on Sunday, but I kind of wanted to just get your general expectations for this second season with Ange, because one thing that I've seen a lot amongst the fan base is that there's a lot of goalpost moving in terms of what a successful season is. In the first season, when we hit a real rough patch early on in December, January, I saw a lot of fans saying second season, we'll wait. And now that the second season started and we've continued the bad form, now it's we need time, he needs time. It's gonna, Rome wasn't built in a day. Look at Arteta, the constant Arteta comparisons. I just wanted to get sort of your general expectations of how you think the season will unfold, and if you think that Ange will be given the time to make it to whatever he's trying to get to.
Okay, so there's a few things there. I don't think we can compare Arteta to Ange, because Arteta won an FA Cup in his first 6 months, and Arteta never got to spend 363 million in his first 3 seasons. So Ange in 12 months has spent more than any Spurs manager in history, and I think more than any manager in Premier League history in 12 months. So the guy spent a lot more money than anyone in such a short space of time. Plus, he's not won anything. Arteta won something. Jurgen Klopp got to a couple of finals in his first season. Pep won the Premier League, breaking the points record in his second season. So these comparisons are taken out of context. I think for a first season, Ange did well. He got us 5th place. We should have got 4th, but he did really badly in the Cups. I think what he does in the Cups is going to be big, because if he rotates 9 players and we got out to Coventry, then it's a waste of time having this guy's manager, because clearly he doesn't give a shit about the Cups, and that's a problem, because we're not going to win the league. We're not winning the Premier League.
Well, this is the thing. His entire tenure is going to be based on whether he can win a cup. And
correct,
from what
it has to be.
The evidence has shown that cup football, generally speaking, is more pragmatic. It's more cagey. Especially when you're talking about European 2-leg ties where teams have 2 games to figure out what you're on. I would say the evidence suggests that he's going to be a very incompetent cup manager at Tottenham. Ironically, he's probably more built to be a league winning manager because of the consistent style of play that he's looking to push every single week. But the second part of my question would have been, do you reckon that he's going to even be given the time? I'm not even asking sort of your opinion on whether he should have the time, but do you think he'll even get the time if the results and the cup performances don't show up this season?
No. I don't believe for 1 second that Daniel Levy is going to allow any manager to not provide the income that European football does. We'll lose our best players if we don't finish in the top 6. We might lose our best players if we don't finish in the top 4. And fans will turn. I've seen it, Hugo, 1,000 times. I remember when, we went from he's magic, Mauricio Pochettino, to booing him. We went from, yay, Conte, serial winner, get him out of our club. We went from Antonio to wanting him out of the club. And we're going to go from, and Postecoglou to boo, big fat Aussie, get him out. If the results don't come. I've seen it happen 1,000 times at this football club. And fans, they talk so much crap about getting behind the manager, because as soon as it gets tough and as soon as the manager really needs the support, our fan base turns. And Levy, he kind of follows whatever pressure the fans give him. So if there's a real plan, if there's a real master plan at work, then you stick with this guy to the end. And do you
believe there is? That's the big question.
No, I know there isn't. I know there isn't. Because when I spoke to Simon Davies, the academy manager, he said last year I spoke to him. well, I spoke to him this year as well, but last season when I spoke to him, I said to him, one of the problems at Spurs, in my view, is that we develop academy players for the first team, but the manager comes in and the philosophy doesn't align with what we've developed. Because I know at Spurs, they don't develop teams, they develop individual talent so that individual talent can play in any system. So if you look at Harry Kane, he can play in any system under any manager because Spurs have developed the individual. Whereas now with Simon Davies, they're developing a team play throughout the academy. But that only works if the team in the academy matches how the first team plays. So I said to, Simon Davies, what's going to happen going forward? And he said to me, well, look, when Ange leaves, not if, when Ange leaves, okay, whether it's sacked or he goes to another club, the next manager, he's been told from the board, will be a similar brand of manager. So a football manager that plays out from the back, possession-based, attacking front foot. So the next manager will be a Nagelsmann, a Poch, a De Zerbi type manager. So that says to me there's no long-term plan for Ange, but maybe there's a long-term plan for how we play football.
I would agree with that sentiment, because I would say that this summer window to me was a big indication that there isn't a long-term faith in the Ange project, because they haven't backed him. They've half backed him and they've played it safe with young players and young signings. One thing that I really want to know is why the fans are all of a sudden so certain that we're moving in the right direction under Ange. Suddenly, we're moving in the right direction under Ange because we're signing young players. Well, hang on a minute. The criticism of the entire ownership, the front office of the last 10, 12 years is that we're not ambitious enough in the transfer market, and we sign young players with high potential sell-on value without focusing on the players' ability and whether they can improve the first team. And that's exactly what's happened in this summer window. We've signed young players that will, at worst case, will be able to sell on and can improve the depth maybe, but don't get in the first team. And somehow people are saying, we're moving in the right direction. This is it. Ange has brought in this young, he's cultivating this young squad. We've been doing that. We were doing that for the last 10, 12 years under Pochettino. We were signing young players that weren't really first team quality. And now all of a sudden the fans are praising it as if this is a big turn for the ownership, a big turn in the front office, that this is a big recruitment change. This has been the biggest criticism of when Conte came in, that was the big criticism, that we haven't signed first team quality. I'm trying to figure out why the fan base is so hypnotized by 60% possession and then this recruitment, this new recruitment.
Because my opinion, right? I don't speak on behalf of anyone on Tottenham Away, just my opinion. Our fan base is deluded. And they are deluded because they listen to the wrong channels, they listen to the wrong podcasts, and they listen to Spurs journalists who all shill information on behalf of the club, because fake positivity is the energy that drives eyeballs. If you look at all the videos on Tottenham Away, we get criticized of, you just hate because it's the currency of the internet. You just hate because that's how people watch your channel. Go look at the most watched videos, the most popular videos we've ever produced. They're all when we win, when we're celebrating, when Heung-min Son scores goals, Iggy does a video saying Dragusin's coming to. It's all the positive energy. So what most people do is positive. But a lot of it is fake. They can't back it up, because that's what drives the eyeballs. That's what people want to feel. That's how they want to believe. For me, I can't do that. I'll say it if there's a reason to be. If we go and smash Arsenal 3-0, you'll see nothing but positive videos from me. Nothing but high energy. Our fans are deluded because they're brainwashed by people that don't know what they're talking about. I spent 3 months on this channel telling everyone, I've spoken to the academy director. These kids are not playing for Spurs next season. There is no Project Youth this year. It's bullshit. I'm telling you. No one listened to me. I got dismissed by everyone. Fake energy, fake. I'm hateful. I got it bang on. Why? Because I don't share misinformation. I say it as it is. I get to speak to these people. I'm a bit lucky. I told everyone they're all going to go out on loan or they're going to get sold. And I said the only one that's going to play is Bergvall, because I've been told he's going to play. Archie Gray, I don't know, because I spoke to Simon Davies before we signed Archie Gray. As for Mikey Moore, he might get a few minutes, but he's not going to get the time that people think. He's not. And the only reason he's still at Spurs is because he's too young to go out on loan. So do I agree with this? No, I don't. I think we should play the youngsters ahead of some of the players we've signed. But I just think we've got a deluded fan base, Hugo, that just are so desperate for positivity that they will cling on to anything given to them rather than just taking a step back and saying, right, let me have a look around and make up my own mind as to what's going on. Because if you do that,
100%.
you begin to realise no one knows what's going on at this club. No one's got a clue what's going on at Tottenham.
And there's a different element under this new manager. There's a different defensiveness that is sparked when you call out Ange and you call out this team in particular. There's a different emotional reaction of straight away. It's a negative.
I've noticed
you're toxic.
I've noticed that.
It's different. It's different. It's different in previous years. It's like a buzzword. You know what I mean? As soon as you mention Ange, it's like people immediately go, "Get out of this club. You don't know what you're talking about." And I'm just saying, look at it from this perspective. I get it. We need a project. We need a rebuild, and that's why for me, from January last season, I greatly lowered my expectations of where I expect this rebuild to get to. I say rebuild like this because, in my opinion, Ange isn't actually a project manager. He's actually a win now manager. And in my opinion, based on the words that come out of his mouth in the press conferences and based off his track record in Japan and Celtic, he's actually a win now manager, and he's shoehorned himself into a project manager role, probably because he has ambitions of being a manager in the Premier League. He has ambitions of managing this team. And so that's why there's this we need time, it's a project, it's a process, but then there's also I want to win the league every year that I'm here. I want to challenge for the league every year that I'm here. The expectations are win trophies every year that I'm here. In my second season, I always win things. So there's this contradictory notion of we need time, it's a slow process, it's a slow build, fans need to be patient. Whilst at the same time, he's saying, I win things everywhere I go, mate. This is my second season, mate. We're going to win trophies, So there's this weird contradictory, contrasting win now mentality, whilst at the same time we're signing young players, we need to rebuild. And again, the fan base are really, really all over the place, especially this year. And
because once again, we've got an ownership that doesn't speak to the fans. So the impetus is put on the manager to carry the weight of the club. Do you remember when Conte was here and he said, stop asking me about injuries? Where's the club doctor? He should be here. He's the one that knows. Because in Italy, that's kind of how they do it. But I think what he was saying in that was, why am I having to talk about everything? Where's the chairman? Where's the club doctor? And I think what Ange is doing, he's just trying to keep everyone united. So he's carrying the weight. But by doing that, he's contradicting himself and he's getting caught out with what he says. And then we as fans think, bullshit. But you said something else the other week and you did something else the other day. I mean, that day when half the stadium wanted us to lose to Man City to stop Arsenal winning the league and the other half of the stadium wanted us to win so we can try and get top four, Ange snapped. He lost it. And then he's having to apologise and then he's having to justify it. And then he comes out with, I felt anxious. You're on £3 million a year and you're anxious.
And you're 58, and you've been a manager for how many years? You're not a young manager
about what you're doing. I mean, look, he's human, and people will love him because he showed his human side. But for me, I'm like, you're my manager. Do what you fucking think, and do your job, and sod what anyone else thinks, because that's what top managers. You think Mourinho gives a shit what anyone thinks?
No.
Do you think Conte cares what anyone thinks? Do you think Klopp cared what anyone thinks? No. So I think the job is a big job for him, and I think he has underestimated. One, what the Premier League is like, and two, what it's like working at Tottenham.
Definitely.
This club can be the death of any manager. It's a graveyard for managers, and
that reflects in when he's saying that he's been backed with Odebear and Solanke, and he's saying that I've been backed. I feel like I've been backed now, and Werner. But the thing as well is that with the signings of Werner, he would have greenlit all those players, right? So it isn't a board cutting corners solely issue, right? He's greenlit all these players. He's for me, right?
So he's told us.
Well, do you not believe? I mean, the reports when we signed Brennan Johnson was that Ange really wanted Brennan Johnson when he was at Celtic, and that Brennan Johnson was his guy, and that was the guy he wanted. I don't know if Spurs would have spent £50 million on him if the manager didn't say that he wanted him, I feel like that was definitely a Ange signing. I mean, you might know more than me, but I have to. I can only base it off what I hear from the manager, right? I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I would guess that Ange has greenlit Timo Werner.
I think half the signings are his, and the other half are club signings, and he's just a yes man, towing the corporate line. And I think he would have agreed to this before he took the job as well. I think he would have agreed that the club will make some signings that, you know, will suit the way he plays, and he's going to kind of have to accept it or accept nothing. And I think there will be some signings that he wanted that he got as well. So I think it's a bit of both. I think that's how a lot of football clubs nowadays work. There's a committee that makes the decisions. Maybe some committees are more aligned with building a team that actually wins trophies, whereas building a team that it's down to the coach then develop to try and win trophies. So I think it's a bit of both, Hugo. I think it's a bit of both. But for me, that method doesn't work at Spurs, and we've seen it doesn't work at Spurs for many, many years. I think Ange might do well. He might. But I think just like Poch, he'll fall short because we're not going to do what it takes. We're not going to go and sign Eze. We're not going to go and sign Caravascalia. We're not going to go and sign an Elise or a player of that level, or two or three players of that level where we say, whoa, these are game changers. You know, Declan Rice, 100 million. We're not going to do that. They're not going to do it.
I mean, when you say he's going to do well, I mean, what to you is him doing well? What do you see being the rainbow at the end, the gold pot at the end of the rainbow for the Ange project? If he's given
realistically,
you know,
realistically, coming second or third in the league and getting to a cup final.
Oh, okay. You think second or third? Really? I mean, that's higher than what I would.
Not this season.
More positive.
Not this season.
No. At the peak, if he's given 5 years, let's say, or 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's say he's given 3 years.
Yeah. I think second or third in the league, and
I think that even that. I mean, I'm glad you're more positive than me about where I see it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's great. I don't think that's great for a club that's got this stadium, that's got the financial power, that's got the ability to do things a lot of clubs can't. You know, you look at Liverpool; they signed one player in the summer. One. You know, you look at the shit show that's at Man United and Chelsea right now. You know, I think we should be knocking on the door of a league title with after 25 years of one ownership and the money we've got. I think we should be winning FA Cups and Carabao Cups every 3-4 years. I think we should be doing that. At least one every 5 years, which is what our history is. You know, if you look at the history of Spurs, look at the trophies. If you average that out, before Levy and Enoch,
sharp graphic.
Well, look, before Levy and Enoch, we were winning a trophy on average once every 4 years.
Every 4 or 5 years.
Every 5 years on average. So if Ange wins a couple of trophies in 5 years and gets close to winning the league, I'm just being realistic. I think that's good because that's better than what any other manager has done at this club in the last 25 years. So you've got to say, mate, you've done really well. It's not what we want. We want to win a Europa Cup. We want to win the league, but
of course, the question is, will he get through this season? I think that's my biggest concern, because I just see the form from November last year up until now, and we've been a bottom half club. And
if he gets through the next 8-9 games, then he'll be here for the rest of the season. If the next 8-9 games are just very messy, I think he's absolutely done by Christmas.
Yeah.
I think he's done because fans will turn, players will give up on the project. It's very hard. It's very hard to save a team when you're in a rut. And if we keep doing what we're doing now, playing, let's call it well, but not getting results, you begin to go into a rut, and that's hard to get out of.
Well, I agree with you on the fan base being in all sorts, but I don't know if the fan base will turn enough in 8 or 9 games if the results continue the way they are. I can really see, because I do feel like there is like a 55% of the fan base which is completely blindly faithful to a guy who has no track record in England doing anything. I was watching Tottenham TV yesterday, and I saw a guy called Brains. I mean, I don't know Brains. The guy called Brains.
I know Brains. I know Brains.
He said that if we came 10th this season, he would give Ange as much time as he wants. He'd give him an unlimited timeline to get to his project, even if he came 10th this season. And to me, that is just a reflection of like, we're happy with mediocrity because we have 60% of the ball. And we're happy with mediocrity because it looks nice and we make a lot of passes in the final third.
Right.
And
I know Brains. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking on behalf of him, but from what I know of Brains, for him to say that, what he's trying to say is, if the shit hits the fan, you've got to ride it out and see the project through. So what Brains, I think, is saying there is, I see a long-term project, regardless of what happens this year, stick with the projects. You know, that whole trust the process. I think that's what he means. Okay, for me, I disagree with it because this ownership has had far too long. We've spent a lot of money under Ange, and we pay the highest prices in English football. It took Poch one season, and we were challenging for a league title. So I personally disagree with Brains, but I understand what he's thinking on it, because there's a lot of fans that think like that, and this is where we're divided as a fan base, isn't it?
And that's exactly what I'm saying in terms of if the next 8 or 9 games don't, if we lose control of the results, you know, like you just said, there's a big portion of the fan base that are with this model of there's a long-term project, trust the process, and so. Will they be swifted and changed?
They just say that.
They're saying that. They are saying that. So that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to figure out. You know,
a lot of them will switch, bro. I've seen it happen. I've seen.
Yeah.
Pochettino was the best thing we had in the last 20 years, and as soon as we got bad results, they all turned. I was in the stadium. They were booing him. They wanted him out.
And he had 5 good years, and he had a run of bad games, and then we wanted him out. Yeah.
And I had a row with the people I've been going to Spurs with for the last 3-4 years. Sorry, last 3-4 years. The ones I've been going with for years. We had a row because they wanted him out. And I said to them, what the fuck are you lot talking about? Do you know what's going to happen to us when he goes? Do you understand what's going to happen? And literally the next 5 years were a shit show.
And I said it to them.
I said, we need to stand by him and he needs to be backed for a rebuild. But most fans wanted him out. Most fans said he had to go. And then what happened is 3 years later, they all looked back and said, shit, why did we do that? And they'll do the same with Ange. The fans will turn. I've seen it happen time and time again. Listen, don't you go online and see how fans are already calling out Ange, saying his dodgy tactics and it's the club's he's out of his depth. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of fans turning.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to sort of gauge when you look on Twitter and Instagram. It's sort of hard to gauge what is really how fans really feel just off Twitter and Instagram, because there's a lot of trolls. It's hard to get a gauge. I've seen a lot more of it, of course, but also people are reactionary and we've had bad results, and so people are going online and saying things. I'm very tuned in. I've seen a lot of it. A lot of the discourse is becoming more prominent because of the second season now, and the results have been dreadful in my opinion. And I also disagree with the fact that
the money we spent. The money we spent.
The money we spent this summer. The way I look at it, the summer was extremely underwhelming. But I wasn't surprised it was underwhelming at all. And I'm also not actually angry at the board that they didn't back Ange all the way. I actually don't blame the board this time around. I actually think that the board are looking at it and going and saying, well, you finished the first season so badly with the first team. Why are we going to give you another £50 million winger? Why? You £50 million wingers don't grow on trees at Tottenham. You got one last season. Why are we going to give you another one? And so I really wasn't surprised that they got us Odebear and not Eze. I really wasn't surprised because the board are looking at it and saying, things could get really ugly in this second season really early on, because the first season ended only a couple of months ago. It's not even been very long. It's been a couple of months since the first season ended, where we were in that terrible run. We've had a couple months and now we're back and the form's continued. And I think the board have seen that and they've gone, well, things could get really ugly really quickly for Ange because we've got a hard run of games and if the form doesn't pick up. So I'm really not surprised that they haven't backed him all the way in the window. I'm really not actually angry at the board.
So are you saying, Hugo, that you don't think he was backed as much as he could have been because he didn't prove that he's worthy of that extra backing?
100%. I think if we came top four, and we managed to hold on and finish the season and get that Champions League, I think he 100% would have got at least one more. He would have got that number 6, or he would have got that marquee winger. I do think he would have got back to more than he was this summer. I feel like the board held off. They held off. I think they held off the trigger a little bit, and they played it really safe. Even the Solanke signing to me seemed like a bit of a panic signing. You know, at the end of the window, we need to get somebody in. Let's just get someone in so that, you know, the morale of the fan base is boosted a little bit. I didn't buy the Solanke signing one bit.
Ange did say that Solanke's one that they were after for a while, and it just took time to get the deal done.
Well, I mean, fine, but you know, he wasn't on international duty. The club narration was, we want to get business done early, and we dilly-dallied, and the links were Tony and Gyökeres. It was everybody else under the sun other than Solanke early in the window. And then all of a sudden, a week before the season starts, it's Solanke, primary target, top target for Ange. His pressing style is the number one target. Why didn't we get him in earlier? To me, I just look at it and I go, I don't know if Solanke was the top target. I think he was probably 4th on the list. And when it turned out that maybe Tony and the other player, you know, Gyökeres was out of reach, and Tony was, maybe it wasn't a good fit because maybe he's got an ego or whatever it is, then they said, okay, well, let's go with Solanke. And to me, Solanke, if we're going to talk about individual players now, you know, to me, Solanke, I think he'll do okay at Tottenham. I think he's I think he'll get 15 goals this season. I think he'll do fine. I don't think he's going to pull up any trees. I don't think he's going to take us to that next level. I think Spurs would be lucky to finish. I think if we were a top 8 side this season, considering the fact that we're in the cups and we're trying to go far in Europe, I would consider that a successful season. In all honesty, a top 8 finish, I really do, because it could get really ugly in these next few games. You know, especially
Brighton and Newcastle, and these teams finish above us. I think Ange is gone.
Well, yeah. This is my thing.
I don't see how anyone can justify that with the money we've spent, the defense that we apparently have got that's so great, and you know, a group of generational youngsters that we've signed.
Well, this is my thing in terms of, okay, that's fine. If those clubs finish above us, you can say that's not good enough, but I don't think there is a plan B right now. And so what is the option if he doesn't, you know, if I personally think, based off the fact that we're signing young players and the fact that the future managers will benefit. That's my opinion. The future managers from now will benefit greatly from from the sacrifice that Ange is making now by being a yes man, and he's gonna burden the load and the anguish of when this project does fall apart. The future managers will benefit greatly from this period of time. But
only
I would just say that
if the best players don't leave.
Romero, I think Romero's gone next season. I think Romero's gone next season.
If things start getting rocky at Tottenham, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they put in an £80 million bid for Van der Ven. We've got problems.
We've got problems. We've got big problems.
We've got problems and, because when those clubs come, players don't say no, right? Yeah. They don't say no. And then now you're looking to replace Van der Ven. That's a massive problem. So,
well, I think Van der Ven. Go on.
Well,
I think Van der Ven. Van der Ven's a bit. You know, it's his second season. I think I'll be more worried about Romero because Romero's on the trajectory of winning now, and I'd be more worried about him because he's a World Cup winner. I think Van der Ven, like, I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller, so.
Listen, I think the next 2 months we're going to find out a lot. There's a lot of games coming up. It's going to be it's going to be Sunday midweek, Saturday midweek, Sunday midweek. It's going to be hectic. Yeah. Loads of football, loads of talking points, loads of shows. I think by the end of November, a lot of us will know kind of where we're at. I agree. And whether we're going to look like geniuses or we're going to look like donkeys. One of the two.
I agree with that 100%. I agree with that. Time will tell in the next couple of months. It's going to be a big period for him. Yeah.
I was going to say, you got a lot of love in the comments, man.
Oh, that's good, man. I was on. Do you know what it is? I was on Tottenham TV the other day, and apparently the chat was giving me some positive feedback as well. So big up everyone. I'm glad that someone likes something that I said. You know what I mean? It's good. But still, you're spot on about. You know, I don't understand why you get so much bloody slander online when you come on and you're actually honest about the performances. It's unbelievable. I honestly don't understand it. You know, maybe it's because you're a bit. I don't know. I've got no idea. I've got absolutely no idea.
I'm outspoken. I say it as it is. Sometimes it does get a little bit heated, but in general, fake positivity sells, and I just don't buy it. I refuse to buy into that. And I think that's something a lot of other channels and people they struggle to accept. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Just quickly, I know you've. But first of all, big up for going for 3 hours. I mean, bloody hell, I wouldn't be able to do that. 3 hours talking to everyone. I mean, that's quite commendable. Just on the North London derby, just because you've spoken to a couple of people before, I do 100% think that Arteta's going to come in. He's going to play 5 back, and he's going to drop deep, and they're going to pick their moments because they don't have to play. They don't have to come and play against us. Why would they? I had a really strong feeling they were going to do it last season, and the first 2 goals they scored were directly from that. You seem positive about the game. I'm not as positive.
But I'm saying 2-2. I think we're going to take the lead, and then we're going to basically screw it up with defensive errors, and we're going to come out of the game thinking, "What a fuck up! We should have won it." But I think it's a score draw.
Do you think the draw is a good result? I think it's tough.
Do you know what? It's not a bad result, is it? It's not a bad result. Arsenal are still one of the best teams in the land.
So. I think they'll beat us. Personally, I think they'll beat us. I just don't think.
Help us. If we lose, God help us. I'm telling you. God help.
Well, I think they'll beat us just because I just don't think we have any defensive platform to deal with any adversity against anyone. If Nottingham Forest show up to our place, they'll score a couple of goals. If Luton Town come to our place, they score a couple of goals. If Burnley come to our place, they score a couple of goals. I just don't think we have enough of a defensive platform to withstand what Arsenal can do to us whenever they want to. And on the other end, it's going to be an uphill battle trying to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't want to be negative. Like it's a North London derby, so you never know what can happen. I'm going to the game, so I'm just hoping that the atmosphere is good and that
where do you sit in the? Where are you sitting?
Well, it changes every time. Usually, I'm in the south stand. Usually, I'm in block 258.
That's next to me.
Block 258.
Okay, great.
No way.
There, Give me a call. Give me a call when you're in the stadium. I'll come find you. We'll have a drink.
Nice one, mate. I'll give you a hug and a high five after the game, and we'll have a chat about.
Only if we win.
Only if we win. Only if we win. Yeah. Only if we win.
Otherwise, I'll be gone. I'm out of it.
No. If we lose, listen. You don't want to be around me. If we lose, I think I'm just going to go over. You don't want to see me if we lose. So if we win, I'll come say hello. If we get a draw, I'll come say hello.
I'll be the guy when everyone's left the stadium, sitting in my seat, screaming and shouting, recording a video for the channel.
Lovely stuff. Well, hopefully we win, man. Listen, it's been a few months since I've been to a Spurs game, so yeah.
Cool, man. Listen, buzz me when you're in the ground. We'll have a catch up.
Yeah, nice one, brother.
Hugo, big up. Thanks for coming on. Awesome. See you next time.
Thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah. Come on whenever you want. Every 2 weeks I'll be doing it. So come and have your say.
Nice one, brother. God bless you. Take care, brother.
You too, Hugo. All right. That's it, everyone. 3-hour show. We had, I've lost count how many fans came on. Everyone had their say. Big up to every single fan that came on. Some brilliant calls or phone-ins or whatever we want to call them tonight. Thank you to each and every single one of you. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thanks for being part of the show. You made it what it is. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Everyone's saying big up. Just a reminder, tomorrow, 9:30, we've got North London is ours. The North London Derby special. Mari, some Spurs fans, some Arsenal fans, they'll be going at it. That should be a good show. Looking forward to it. And then on Sunday evening, 9:30 at night, Spurs v Arsenal late night show. Make sure you come and check it out as well. All right, peeps. Thanks for being here. Big up to every single one of you. Much love as always. We'll be back tomorrow and then on Sunday. I'm sure Iggy's going to be doing his good morning to you all. Good morning shows. Make sure you check it out. Much love. Peace. Take care. Big up to everyone that came on tonight. See you later.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.